What's up? How's it going? Thank you for the like. It has been a while, whoever the fuck is here. Fucking finally! Finally, we don't have to deal with shitty fucking cards. And UFC 299 is here. I disagree, Jesse. I disagree. I fucking hate it. I hate this shit. Most people would think it's nice. I'm sweating my dick off. But yeah, I mean, 72 degrees, I guess I can't complain. But it's still fucking winter, man. But yeah, who you got? Who you got in, I think the most interesting fight out of the 5 main card fights, and they're all fucking interesting, but I think the most well, they're all debatable, but I think BSD and Poirier is the most intriguing fight. And I've been doing a lot of deep dives for this card the last few days just because it's an actual important card. And I found a lot of interesting numerical, I don't want to call them coincidences, but synchronicities, shit like that, that I wanted to share with some people. Because I found a new method of determining whether or if a fighter is going to perform well. And it's worked out really, really well so far, but it doesn't happen that often. But there's one instance on this card where it's happening, and a lot of people are picking the other fighter, even though it's an even money fight. Oh God! I am under a fucking bridge. No, I'm not homeless. But O'Malley decision, I 100% agree, Jesse. The only thing I'm worried about with that is that the UFC really does not want Merab fighting for the championship. And because of that, I feel like one of the best things that could happen for the UFC is if O'Malley has another freak accident, or like he just gets injured right off the bat, and Cheeto wins the belt, and then they'll do another rematch like 6 months down the line, and then that would force Merab to have to fight like Sandhagen or something. And because I'm not 100%, but just analyzing their styles and also numerically, O'Malley does have more going for him than Cheeto, but Cheeto has a little bit too. But yeah, I like O'Malley decision. Cheeto just doesn't get finished ever. Has he ever gotten finished? I don't think he has. Yeah, I don't think he has. I could be wrong. I know he's never gotten knocked out. There's no way he's gotten knocked out. That dude's a fucking tank. Like, O'Malley technically does have the power to put him out, but I think that's the most, out of the 5 main card fights, that's by far the least interesting to me. I think that's the most obvious. You kind of like, I get why some people are picking Vera, but I just don't think Vera. Well, I don't know. We've never seen O'Malley go 5 rounds. So that's an interesting caveat, is that O'Malley's never gone 5 rounds, so we don't know. We don't know how he's going to do in the 4th and 5th round, and that's where Cheeto typically picks it up. So if Cheeto's going to win and it's not going to be a fluke thing, then it would be like a TKO round 4, round 5. That would be my guess. But I'm definitely going O'Malley decision. That's the easiest one for me. Benoit Saint Denis and Dustin Poirier. Like, I'm not none of the things I'm saying right now are 100%. Like, I always make my decisions at the very end. Like, literally like an hour before the fight starts. That's when I really make my decisions. And even after that, like when it comes to betting, I don't bet until literally the moments before the fight starts. But with BSD and Poirier, there's a couple things that just, even though Poirier is one of my favorite fighters, and I think I've picked him in like every single fight he's fought in. Like, I can't remember the last time I picked against him. I do remember. The last time I picked against Poirier was the second Conor McGregor fight. I picked against him then. No, I was wrong. But I almost always pick him. But there's a few things that really bother me. Like when he was negotiating and he said, "Oh, the fight's off" or whatever, and then it was back on. Obviously, he was just negotiating for more money, and the UFC gave it to him. which is fine, but it's kind of indicative of where his head's at. Like, I don't think he really cares that much. Like, they asked him why he's fighting BSD. He's like, oh, he's a young, hungry, up-and-coming guy, and he excites me. But, like, that's not why he's fighting him. He's fighting him because they're forcing him to, I think. Like they're just giving him enough money so that he doesn't have the choice to do it. BSD got to get the takedown. I think he will. The way I see the fight going is that Poirier is going to be winning until he's not. I think Poirier is going to piece him up on the feet. But he doesn't have the power to knock BSD out. Like if Zaleski couldn't knock him out at welterweights on short notice, I really don't think Poirier can do it. And I don't know. I just see Poirier winning like the first round and a half, and then it's getting knocked out or submitted. I think it's more. I think Poirier is the better fighter, for sure. I think he's the better fighter, but he's got way more mileage on him. And I'm not, from what I've seen so far, like I'm gonna wait until I actually see his interviews on Wednesday and what's it called, the press conference on Thursday before I make my final decision on how I feel about Poirier. But just the things I've seen from him so far, and he's one of the fighters I have a really good read on most of the time. I just feel like he's not mentally in the game as much as he was, like just even versus like he seemed more focused versus Gaethje than versus BSD. And I don't know, it's hard. He's got so much mileage on him. I don't want to say that the Gaethje knockout could have ended him, because he was winning that fight until he got knocked out. It's not like he took a ton of damage. He was beating his ass and he got knocked out. But it could, like, you never fucking know. And he's only, I think he's my age or a little bit younger than me. Yeah, I want to say he's like slightly younger than me. So he's not old, but in fight years, he's fucking ancient. Like, how many years have I been watching Dustin Poirier? Literally since I was like 18 or 19. Like, I've been watching him for fucking ever. So that scares me. And there's on top of that, BSD just has the it factor. Like, there's something about him that you can tell he's gonna be a star. He's like the least French guy I've ever seen. He's the least French guy there is. He's like, if you take the most red-blooded American and somehow make him French, but he retains all his American qualities, that's BSD. So I think that's super marketable. And just his fight style too, like he doesn't back, like he just goes, he's just an amazing fight. He's a really, really fun fighter to watch. And numerically speaking, like pretty much all the numbers are in his favor that I saw. Like all of them. I think there was one number that could potentially be in Poirier's favor, but you kind of have to do a little bit of a mental jump or two to actually make it work for him. Whereas BSD's numbers are like, they're pretty straightforward. So I think BSD is, I don't want to call him a lock, but I think he's a lock. MVP Holland is also super fucking interesting. This one, there's a whole bunch of numerical, not coincidence, but there's a whole bunch of numerical things that say, that basically, like, they were destined to fight on Saturday. Kevin Holland and an MVP were destined, when they were born, they were destined to fight each other on Saturday. I believe that. There's just too many things that line up. But there's nothing that says who wins the fight. And I think that's on purpose. Because UFC schedules these fights based on gematria, based on astrology. Like, they clearly do. Very, very obviously do. And the way I look at it is that they gave MVP a clean slate. Like, no guy has an advantage in the numbers, really. And he's versus Kevin Holland, who's like a pretty equal matchup. Like, it's kind of hard to break that down. So I think the UFC did that on purpose. Like, we want a clean fucking fight on Tapology. He's fought every single time, and I think he's lost 3 and won 2, something like that. I'm just sick of fucking picking Kevin Holland. It's so frustrating watching that motherfucker fight, because he never fights to his full abilities. If Kevin Holland fights like he can, he submits MVP in round 1. I have no doubt in my mind. I think I said this his last fight against JDM. It's like if he wants to actually beat JDM, he can, but he didn't. He doesn't fight like that. He has that mental thing where he doesn't allow himself to give full effort for whatever fucking reason. So because of that, and also just because of MVP's his length and his just his awkward style, I can just see Kevin Holland having issues with it. And like when Kevin Holland is having issues in the cage, you can physically see it in his body. Like he doesn't have a good poker face. And when I picture the way this fight's going to go, I think most likely it's going to be a stand-up fight with MVP staying at range and just frustrating the hell out of Kevin with leg kicks and shit. And I could just see the visible frustration wearing on Kevin's face and body language, which is horrible for the judges if you want to get a judge's decision. So right now I'm leaning MVP, but I haven't seen any interviews with them, and Kevin's another guy that I tend to have a pretty good read on. So I'm gonna wait on that, but right now I lean MVP. Now Gilbert Burns and JDM. Up until an hour ago, I was fairly certain that JDM was gonna get win. Some guy named EBT MMA totally hates your guts. He hates everyone's guts. He hates everyone's guts. Yeah, I'm aware of that, Hot Knocker. And welcome. How you doing? So, yeah, I was pretty sure, just matchup-wise, that JDM would be able to keep it standing. And if it's just a stand-up fight, I don't see how Gilbert's going to be able to handle JDM's boxing. It's just too crisp. And he's bigger, he's stronger, he hits harder. It's hard to imagine Gilbert doing anything on the feet. However, I just looked at the numbers, and most of the numbers favor Gilbert Burns, and like numbers that hit a lot. It's the second most important cipher in Gematria. Gilbert Burns is 22-6 right now, and he can become 23-6. Now these hit a lot. Now the further down the card you go, they tend to hit less and less, but because this is such a high-profile fight, I tend to think it will play in. And I think all I can say for sure is that Gilbert Burns he's gonna have a good showing. I don't know if he's gonna win, but when I was analyzing the fight, I thought JDM wins pretty easily. I don't think that anymore. Just based on the numbers, I think Gilbert has a good showing, and if JDM wins, it's gonna be a split decision or a really close decision. And if Gilbert wins, I also think it's gonna be a split decision. Whereas before, when I was analyzing it, I actually could see if the numbers were neutral or if the numbers favored JDM, I could definitely see him knocking out Gilbert Burns. Especially Gilbert coming off an injury. We don't know how he's going to come back. A lot of question marks. Like I said, the fact that the numbers favored Gilbert, it makes me think whoever wins is going to be a split decision. That's my pick. I'll probably bet that too. I'll probably bet fight goes the distance. And now this is the most clear cut, I think, out of the five. Peter Yan versus Song Yadong. Before I looked at the numbers, my mind said Peter Yan all fucking day. Easy call. Song Yadong is really fucking good, but matchup wise, I just feel like it's probably gonna be a stand-up fight. And I think Yan's boxing is crisper and he leaves less openings, and Song is definitely open to get hit. And I can see Yan taking advantage of that. But also, if it does fucking go to the ground, Yan has the advantage of that. Like, he can take Song down, and I know Song trains at Alpha Male, but I still, like, Yan's actually a fucking beast on the ground. Anyways, in almost all the numbers, there was a whole bunch of numbers for this fight. And like 9 out of the 10 favored Yan, like very, very clearly favored Yan. And this is another thing that I don't think is by accident. UFC knows that Yan is one of the best fighters, not just in the division. He's one of the best fighters in the fucking company, period. I still believe that. Just because he lost 3 in a row, that doesn't mean he's not one of the best fighters. Because the Merab fight, like, everyone fucking gets wrestled fucked by Merab. That's no referendum on Yan's ability to fight. And then the 2 losses before were bullshit. Like, he did beat O'Malley, in my opinion. And the Sterling loss, like, yeah, I guess technically he lost, but did he really? Like, I don't know. So none of his recent, he's what, 1-4 in his last 5, but none of those 4 losses, in my mind, count really against him in terms of his actual fighting ability. So I still, that should make him hungry. And the fact, the fact that the UFC set this fight up, just the matchup, I think most people would probably think Jan has the advantage in the matchup, and the UFC, so like it's a favorable date for the fight to go down for Jan. It just makes me believe like the UFC wants Jan to win. Why wouldn't you? You don't want one of your best fighters to go down 0-4 in the last 4 fights. It's not a good look. So that's where I'm at with Jan. I think that's the easiest one to call. I'm going to be looking at the stars, but very likely I'm going to have a lot of money on Peter Yan. Probably a decision. Song Yadong is tough as shit. Probably a decision, but all those numbers in Jan's favor could give him a little bit more energy and power. Now here's the fight that I've been using this new. It's really simple, but I've been using a new method to determine if a fighter's gonna be good. Song KO. You really think? No, dude. No. No, it's not gonna be Song KO. If Song wins, it's gonna be a decision. There's no way he KOs Peter Yan. There's no way. Like, what makes you think Song's gonna win by KO? Like, I know he hits hard. I don't know if he hits harder than Yan. I think they both hit pretty fucking hard, to be honest. I don't know who has the edge in power, but who has the edge in technique? I think it's Yan. Song is bigger, so that could help him. I think he's got a few inch reach advantage, but I know he's taller and definitely a bigger guy. That works in his favor, but no, I think Peter Yan is the lock of the card. He started at like a -140 favorite or something like that, and he's been going down, which is actually blowing my mind. So if I can get Yan as an underdog, I'm fucking hammering that shit. Like, if at any point this week I can get Yan as an underdog, I'm not even gonna look at the. I'm not gonna wait to look at the stars. I'm gonna put some money on it because that's too good of a value. Like, anytime Yan is an underdog, unless he's against Marab, I think that's a really good value. Gonna catch him with a clean hook in round 1. Yan's not really open to hooks though. That's the thing. He keeps a high guard. I don't see that at all, man. I think Jan's gonna see everything coming at him, but we'll agree to disagree. We can do a tapology versus thing. Let's see who wins. But this next fight, okay, so Blades versus Almeida. Been analyzing this fight. This is a really fucking tough one to analyze because on the very surface, you're like, oh, finally, wrestler. You would think, okay, Blades is probably going to be able to keep it stand up, and then if he keeps it standing up, he's going to win. And I still maintain that if it's a stand-up fight, for sure Blades is going to win. I have no doubt in my mind. But when you actually look at Blades' takedown defense and who he's been taken down by in his UFC career, it's not fucking good at all. He hasn't fought many guys that try to take him down, but the guys that do take him down, they take him down. So it's really fucking worrying. And that said, I'm still taking Curtis Blades, and here is why. Because on that day, he is going to be 33 years old, and he's going to be 33 years and 3 weeks old, including the end date. And this is the 5th time it's happened in the last like 4 or 5 weeks where the 333 in someone's age. The first time was Charles Johnson versus Azat. And I picked Charles Johnson there, and I think he was 30 years. He was 30 years old, 3 months and 3 days, or something like that. But he had the 333 going for him, so I knew he was going to perform well. The second one was Altamirano, which was the worst robbery of the fucking year so far. I was so salty after that because I picked Altamirano, and only like 10% of Tapology picked him. So that was like the fight that I could make up some ground on most of the other people in Tapology. I'm super competitive with that shit. I care more about Tapology than I do my bets. But I was so fucking salty about that. But yeah, because it was so hard for me to pick him because matchup wise, I was like, dude, Altamirano is not good. He's very durable and he's very unorthodox, and he's a tricky guy to fight for some people, and he's tough as hell, but he's not good. He's not even remotely good. He's just tough and weird. And matchup wise, I didn't like it at all, but I ended up going with him. And even though he won the fight, he lost. So I was very salty about that. The next one was Mackenzie Dern against Amanda Lemos. And when analyzing that fight, I was like, okay, well, 9 times out of 10, Lemons just knocks her clean out. That was my analysis. But when I was thinking about, like, well, if Dern is on her absolute best, which she was like 30 years old. She had the 3-3-3. I forgot what it was, but she had the 3-3-3. And I thought, and I imagined how the fight was going in my head. I thought that Lemons was going to beat the shit out of her, drop her, and then jump into her guarding and caught in an armbar. That's what I saw. And that actually almost happened in round 2. And we saw that play out. I think 9 times out of 10, Lemos just murks Dern in round 1, no issue. But we saw the 1 out of 10 fight where Dern somehow survives and somehow lasts the entire fight. Like, that was, even though she got her ass fucking handed to her and she looked like hell, that was a really good showing for Mackenzie Dern, given the scenario, in my opinion. Like I said, like, Lemons beats the shit out of her every single time. So I still think the 33 played there. And then the last one, very frustrating for me too, was Brian Ortega. He was 33 years and 3 days old when he fought. And when he fought Yair, and I ended up taking Yair because my gut told me, because on that fight there were the 2 33s. It was Altamirano and Brian Ortega. And my gut told me one of them's gonna win, one of them's gonna lose. And I ended up going with Altamirano, so I ended up picking Yair Rodriguez. But the funny fucking thing about that, can I go live for 4 hours? I'm gonna be live for probably not 4 hours, but I'll be live for a while. Just because it's pretty hot. Like my apartment is the heater is just on no matter what. I can't fucking turn it off. So whenever the temperature is over like 70 degrees and it's sunny, like later in the day when the sun's beating in there, it's just way too fucking hot in my apartment just to be in there. So that's actually a reason why I'm streaming. I just wanted to get out of the house and not be in there. So I'll be streaming for a while, but probably not for 4 hours. Watching Dern strike is hilarious. Oh, dude, I was crying. Oh my god, dude, yeah, when her head got snapped back, she just charged her like a fucking retard. Okay, so Jesse, that reminded me almost exact the way Dern's head, the way she charged forward just recklessly, and then the way Lemos just hit her one time and her head snapped back. It was exactly like Pena Nunez too. Like, it was almost exactly the same thing. Pena was a little bit more aggressive and a little bit more funny with it, I would say. But still, when I saw that, I was dying. And I was rooting for Dern. I had Dern on Tapology, even though like everything in my being told me not to do it. Yeah, that was fucking hysterical, man. That's the one good thing about women's fights, is that every once in a while you'll get what was it? Chelsea Chandler versus Norma Dumont moments, or when who upkicked Macy Chasson? That was fucking hysterical too. Every once in a while, there's a fucking just amazing moments in women's MMA. So it is good for that every once in a while. I mog all Rigo cells. I guess I don't have anything against Rigo. I don't watch his. I haven't watched his shit in fucking forever. Rigo's ego just got way too much for me, and his there was just this it's funny, Rigo and Musical hate each other, but they do the same fucking shit, the same exact shit that bothers the hell out of me, which is they promote gay shit. That both of them have many videos where there's rainbow flags and like there's overt overt homosexual behavior that they're promoting, even though they're making fun of it it does. You're still promoting it, you know, and that shit kind of bothers me. Whether or not they're doing that on purpose, I can't say. But yeah, Dern. I was so surprised they gave Dern Lemos after getting knocked clean out by Andrade, and I was even more surprised that Mackenzie Dern was that aggressive on the feet versus Lemos. I thought that weighed into my Dern pick too. I was like, well, she's probably gonna be a little bit more cautious because she just got knocked out by someone who's a very similar fighter. Like Lemos and Andrade they're not identical, but they're very similar. They're both big, strong, lesbian Brazilian women coming to knock your head off, you know? Both terrible matchups for Mackenzie Dern. But no, she fought like she didn't give up. Like she fought like she didn't just get knocked out. And like I said, if she wasn't by 30 years, 3 months, 3 days old or whatever it was, she would have gotten flatlined. So she's very lucky that didn't happen. Can we watch Dustin get knocked at your place? I'll bring Chick-fil-A. I'll pass on the Chick-fil-A, but we can watch Dustin get knocked at my place. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Part of me thinks Dustin's gonna retire if he gets knocked out. Like I can see it. I can definitely see it. I don't know. I hope not. But at the same time, if he does get brutally knocked out, I don't want to see Dustin Poirier go down the same route as Tony Ferguson and shit. Like, if he feels it's time and he doesn't have that fire in him to fight anymore, then I hope he does quit. But as a fan of his for so long, I don't want to see him quit, if that makes any sense. But I'd much rather see him quit than fucking lose 7 in a row like Tony Ferguson. But Dustin's not the type of guy that would lose 7 in a row. He's not. He doesn't have that stubborn mentality that Tony has. And he doesn't have that. Dustin's not really a delusional type fighter, I don't think, either. I've never really heard too many delusional things come out of Dustin's mouth. Whereas Tony's always been delusional. And, which is a good thing. Like, you need to be delusional if you want to be a top tier fighter. But it's a horrible thing when you're aging and your fighting abilities and your athletic abilities are decreasing by the day, and you're so delusional you don't have you don't understand what's going on. In Tony's mind, he just had to push harder. That's why he fucking hired David Goggins. Like, it's made no fucking sense. But anyways, okay, so back to Blades Almeida. Back to Blades Almeida, though, because I think it's really interesting. Matchup wise, yeah, on surface, you're like, okay, Blades is finally gonna win. But then you dig a little deeper, it's like, okay, but he's actually only a good offensive wrestler. He's not a good defensive wrestler. So that should favor Almeida. However, after Almeida's last performance, where he just looked at Derek Lewis in the eyes for 5 rounds, I think the UFC purposely put him on the prelims of this fight card. Although I think it was supposed to be a main event of a fight night before, and then it got moved. But I think they purposely put him on the prelims of this to punish him a little bit. And they purposely put him against Blades on his 33rd and 3-week birthday to teach him a lesson. Like I said, that doesn't mean that Almeida's going to lose. He does have one really big number going for him in the fact that it's been 126, or from March 9th, it will be 126 days since his last victory. And Jailton Almeida equals 126 in ordinal. But there's a lot of things in Blade's favor too. And the biggest thing, numerically speaking, is not only is he 33 years old and 33 years and 3 weeks old, Razor also equals 33 in his most pure form. Those pure ciphers hit the most. So 33 is a huge number for him just in his life period. So the fact that he's 333, it's gonna be extra potent. So I will say this for sure. When deciding this fight, or deciding who you're gonna pick between Blades and Almeida, just know that if they fight 10 times, this is gonna be the one time out of 10 that Curtis Blades looks the best. You're going to see a good Curtis Blades. He's not going to get taken down and submitted immediately. That's not going to happen. I guarantee you that's not going to happen. He might get taken down, but it's not going to be one-sided. Like that's a damn near given. Because even Dern and Lemos, which is like the most one-sided matchup on paper there is, Dern had her moments there, and this is much closer than that. And I like what I see more for Razor than I did for Dern. And matchup wise, it's closer. So I think I'm gonna go Razor Blades here. I think I can see it. I think he's gonna get a knockout. I could just see him. I could see Razor doing to Jailton what the Black Beast did to Razor. That's how I see this fight going down. Just Jailton shooting a stupid, empty takedown, not set up, and Razor just catching him with a bazooka of an uppercut. And that's my prediction. Probably round 1 knockout. Hopefully too, because I fucking hate Almeida, one of my least favorite fighters currently on the roster. I don't know how anyone can root for that guy. He's not good. He's good on the ground, obviously, but he's not a good fighter. Thoughts on Micah Beeping quitting his job this weekend to watch the card at your pad, wearing a wife beater and bringing Mike's Haunted Lemonade? Thoughts on that? I have mixed feelings on that, because on one hand, it would be cool to hang out with a former UFC champion, but like I have such mixed feelings about Mike Bisping as a person. Like as a fighter, like early in his career, I fucking hated him with a passion, and then after the Hendo knockout, he started to grow on me. Like he learned his lesson a little bit. He just wasn't as annoying. And towards the end of his career, I actually started really liking him as a fighter. And then when he retired, I really liked him as a commentator. But after the first few months of him commentating, he's just one of the worst. But I will say this, lately, his commentary has been better. Way better than it was a year ago. Like way better. It's still not good. But this isn't saying anything, but it's 10 times better than Joe Rogan. So I mixed feel. So if he was hanging out with me, part of me would like to fucking mix it up with him and talk to him about his UFC experiences. But a part of me does not want to hear some of the stupid shit he's saying when I just want to watch the fights. So I would welcome it, but he wouldn't be my first pick. That's for sure. What else I want to talk about? Numeric. I only looked at the first 6 fights so far. I haven't looked at the rest of them, so I can't give any insights on the other interesting fights numerically. I can tell you what I think is going to happen. Like the Gamrot RDA, I think that's the most obvious Gamrot decision there is. I don't think I have to look at any numbers or any astrological alignments. I just feel like if those guys fight 10 times at this stage in their career, Gamrot's going to win a probably pretty boring decision 10 times out of 10. That's just what it feels like. I don't see him submitting or finishing RDA. He doesn't have good finishing potential anyways. And RDA is he's a good wrestler, but he's not a good defensive wrestler. He's a good offensive wrestler. And Gamrot's one of the best offensive wrestlers in the division. I just don't see how. I just think it's going to be a boring snooze fest. I think that's easy money. Gamrot decision all day. Who else is on the card? I have to look at. Oh, interesting one. What was Robellis? What's his name? Robellis. Can't remember his last name. Despain, something like that. That guy versus Josh Parisian. This is tough because this one is definitely going to require astrological and numerical. I'm gonna do some deep fucking insights on this one, because just looking at that guy's his frame and then watching his 4 fights, that guy hits maybe harder than anyone I've ever seen in my life. like for real, like the way, like when he hits, it hurts just fucking watching it. It seriously does. He puts fucking everything into it. And it's really, really, really hard to imagine Josh Parisian handling just 2 of those shots. It's really, really hard for me to imagine that. However, if he can weather that first round, he's probably going to win the fight. Just because this guy has very little MMA experience. He's fucking enormous, and he throws everything he has into all his shots. And he's never been past the first round, and in his last 3 fights, he hasn't even been past 13 seconds into the goddamn fight. So, what I'm gonna do, very likely, is live bet that if Parisian survives the first round, no doubt it's probably gonna be a 10-8 round. But if he just barely survives that, Parisian would probably be like a plus 1,000 underdog or something at that point. Because I think he's like plus 400 right now or somewhere around there. So after a first round mollywhopping, you'd probably be in the plus 1,000. If that happens, I definitely, especially if I like what I see in the stars, I would definitely bet. Even if I don't like what I see in the stars, I would bet a little bit on Parisian, just because we've seen it happen way too fucking much. These one-round guys, when they finally have to go past that first round, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. How would Fiziev versus Gamrot would have gone without the knee injury? I like Fizzy. RDA did decent against Fiziev until the KO. Yeah. I think Fizzy's defense, his takedown defense, would have held up, would have been good enough to keep it on the feet long enough for him to win the fight. I would say a decision. If they were to fight again, I would pick Fiziev decision, where he's controlling most of the fight standing up, but Gamrot does have his moments taking him down, maybe holding him down for a minute. But Fizzy's got good takedown defense too. I just don't think that's a good matchup for Gamrot. Now, picking Gamrot in this fight is a little bit hard, just because Gamrot's last 3 victories have all been fluky as hell. Like, he didn't beat Fiziev. Like, he did, but he didn't. But that was just an injury. Like, that you can't count that towards Gamrot. The one before, Jalen Turner absolutely won. I'm still salty about that. And then the fight before, the fight before he lost, and then the fight before that, he fought Armin, and he lost that. Like, he won, but he lost. So technically speaking, in his last 3 fights, real fights, he's 0-3. However, yeah, this is not stylistically, I don't think it's a good matchup for RDA. Like I said, he's a good offensive wrestler. He's not a great defensive wrestler. He's going to be, I feel like he's going to be way too conscious and way too hesitant on the feet because of Gamrot's takedown defense. So I wouldn't even be surprised if Gamrot gets the best of RDA on the feet just because of that takedown threat. So that's one of my locks of the card. Gamrot decision, easy. I like Gamrot decision, Jan money line, and those are the 2 I think are locks right now. There's Caitlin Dukagian and Macy Barber. Even though that's a fucking, I don't even know what I'm talking about right now. It's such a stupid fight. It's interesting in the sense that I don't know what's gonna fucking happen. Both Dukagian. Well, it's gonna go all 3 rounds, and that's another lock of the card. Dukagian, Barber to go all 3 rounds. Because as much as I hate Dukagian, she is tough. And even though Barber did get a KO in her last fight out, and she has been way more aggressive lately versus like the middle of her career. Like when Barber first came on the scene, she was super aggressive, and then she dialed it back way too much, but they were still giving her wins. And then she started being aggressive again. It's a tough one. it's a fucking tough one because both fighters are really good at making their opponent fight their fight. Both of them are, like, I would say, they're probably the two best in the division other than Aaron Blanchfield. I would say they're probably the two best at that aspect of MMA, where like wherever they want the fight, that's where they keep it. So it's going to be interesting to see who wins out. I think I lean Macy Barber because when those two things line up, where you got a good wrestler who's really good at keeping it at that distance, versus a good striker, a lanky striker who's really good at keeping it at that distance, I tend to go the wrestler. And Macy Barber's younger, and she's been looking a lot better lately. But something tells me Doukagian is a really, really good live dog, and I think she's a pretty big dog too. I'm not sure, but I don't know. If I'm betting that fight, which I probably am, it's definitely either the over 2.5 rounds or fight to go to the decision. Probably fight to go to the decision. I don't know if either of them even have the power to finish each other in the late third round anyway, so I'd probably go decision for the value. Here's another thing I want to talk about. I can't believe that Shamil Gaziev was a favorite against Rosenstruik, and I couldn't believe on Tapology that 70% picked Gaziev, and even more, there were a couple people, a couple of handicappers on YouTube that said Shamil was a fucking lock. Like, I heard that last week. Everything in my body just like, what? It made me question my analysis of it. And for me, it was as simple as in Shamil's first fight against Budai, however you pronounce it. I remember picking Budai and watching the fight and watching Shamil gas after the first 4 minutes, and then he ended up getting the TKO in the second round, but he was absolutely fucking gassed. I literally made a note right then. I said, if they give Gaziev good next fight or whenever, if they give him anyone with cardio, anyone who's actually good, fade the fuck out of him. Like that stuck very clearly in my mind, that this guy fucking sucks. He's not good. But he was the favorite, like a pretty big favorite too. I got Jairzinho at like plus 162 or some shit like that, which isn't a massive underdog, but it's a massive underdog considering the matchup. The only thing I was worried about was a first round submission, because Gaziev he's got literally 4 minutes of cardio, 4 fucking minutes of cardio, and yeah. So I picked Rosenstruik round 2. He would have gotten a round 2 KO for sure if he actually went for it, but he was very, very cautious. He didn't want to get taken down, even though by second round it was obvious Shamil had nothing in the gas tank at all. I never heard of Gaziev. I picked him because I have no faith in Rosenstruik. Rosenstruik's good. So Rosenstruik is actually a really good fighter. Rosenstruik is more decorated in kickboxing than Alex Pereira. Dude can fucking strike, for sure. But whenever he's fighting someone who can take him down, he gets so fucking hesitant. And we saw it against Gaziev. In rounds 2, 3, and 4, he was so hesitant, where if he just let his hands go, easy second round knockout. Like, I thought the fight was gonna go, Shamil takes him down in the first, but not able to finish him. I just thought Rosenstruik would be able to stall out and just hang on for dear life, which is all he needed to do. And that kind of happened, but Shamil didn't even take him down till late. I thought it would happen earlier. So, and then the second round, I knew he was going to gas out. Like, that was 100%. Gaziev fucking sucks, dude. He's so bad. And his fucking off-center fucking happy trail, something about it disgusts me to no end. I don't know. Yeah, that guy sucks. Just because he's got a Russian-sounding name and he's a wrestler, that doesn't mean he's good. He's not good. And unless he fixes his cardio issues, I'm probably fading him again next fight, unless they give him like Parisian or or like a Hunsucker, or like they give him one of those bottom feeder type heavyweights. He could beat those guys for sure. But anyone who has cardio or anyone who can stuff a takedown, dude, he can't beat any of those guys. I don't see that guy lasting long unless he gets on EPO or works on his cardio. It's just crazy that there's UFC fighters in 2024 that can't go past 4 minutes. It's a little less crazy at heavyweight, but there's smaller guys that are like that too. There's smaller guys like that too. So, yeah, fuck that guy. That was the easiest pick of me for the card, I think. Other than there were a whole bunch of huge favorites last card, and they all won besides Amin Zahabi and Basharat. What do you guys think? Do you think Basharat won that fight, or do you think Zahabi won that fight? Because watching it live, well, I was salty, but then thinking back on it, because watching it live, I was like, okay, Basharat clear round 1, Zahabi clear round 3. I think the round in question is round 2. Watching it live, after that round was over, I was like, oh, okay, probably 2-0 Basharat. That's what I thought. But I went back and watched it, and I think if based on the fucking rules of, I think you have to go Zahabi. I think Basharat landed a little bit more, but Zahabi landed a little bit cleaner. And Basharat just has pillow hands, man. He's just not. He's good. He's really good, but he's got no. I don't know if there's a guy with less power than Basharat. Like when he throws strikes, they don't even remotely give me any level of terror. Like I could take his hits with a 4-ounce glove. Like I know I can. I fucking know I can. That's not a good sign. That's not a good sign if I can take your hits. Probably definitely the most pillow-fisted prospect in the UFC, but he might just be the most pillow-fisted guy in the UFC. Up there with Colby Covington. Yeah, so I don't know. I was angry when it happened because I was stupid, and I did have Basharat in a parlay, in my safety parlay, which was fucking stupid. My safety parlays have been hitting a lot lately, and I went against my normal rule, is that I never ever bet anything over -4 to 500, period. I won't include it in a parlay in MMA, just because it's you lose all your value there. But I felt like matchup wise that Basharat, it was just a good matchup for Basharat, and that I didn't feel like I was taking much of a risk, and turns out I was taking a big fucking risk. And I can't remember the other things I had on the safety part. The rest of them hit. I think it was. Oh, I had Christian Leroy Duncan and Claudio Ribeiro. I had that not going the distance at -370. I thought that was an absolute lock. There was no fucking way in hell that fight. That was either Ribeiro KO round 1 or CLD KO round 2 or 3. Like that was the only things that could happen in that fight. What else did I pick? And then I had another leg. I had Makayev money line. I think it was -330. That was a iffy one. Makayev's always fucking iffy. That guy's not good. But once again, I just thought that the matchup going against a guy who's fought like once in the last 4 years, I thought it favored him. But watching that fight, Alex Perez or what's it? Yeah. God, I just fucking blinked. What the fuck is his name? I just said his fucking name. Fucking Makayev. I thought, even though optically it looked horrible that he was doing the Aljo just fucking get down on you. He wasn't even shooting. He would literally just level change, but it wasn't even like he was level changing for a shot. He was just going on his knee. It was it was probably the worst display of abusing the no knees or no headshots to grounded opponents. I don't think I've ever seen a more blatant abuse of that rule. And if that rule didn't exist, Alex Perez fucking kicked his head off into the fucking next universe. That said, I did think Mikhail won, even though it didn't look good just based on damage. I did think he did outpoint him just barely though. And so many, he was asking for like a title fight after that. Are you fucking kidding me, dude? That's insane. You barely beat a flyweight who's past his prime, who hasn't even fought in 2 years. And you questionably beat him. You didn't even really, like, he did beat him, but it was the cheapest win that you could ever have. And now he's asking for a title shot? What the fuck? I just don't see him beating anyone else above him. Who does he beat? Like, he's not good. His wrestling is not that great. He's super tough. He's super durable, but he's not good. He's just not that fucking good. And I haven't seen improvements in his game. If anything, I thought he looked worse this last time out than previous matchups. He did not look good. So going forward, I think he's probably a fade. It depends on who they give him. I know they want him to do well, but at some point you have to give him someone who's actually going to be a legitimate threat. And once he's title fight isn't too far from shout of it, but it's not. I agree, it's not too far, but it's not his next. He was asking for his next fight. It's not his next fight. It can't be. It just can't be. I don't know who it will be, because it is you're right. It is a very shallow division, and Kopp fucked his chances, and Kai Kara France hasn't fought in a long time, so I don't know what he's doing, and Moreno's done, and maybe Royval again, but just matchup wise, I don't see Royval ever having a chance against Pantoja. It's just a horrible matchup for him. Royval's a good fighter. I like him a lot as a fighter, but he's a finisher. He typically wins his fights by threatening a lot of shit, and he's just not going to finish. Pantoja is a little 25-pound tank. I think it's a fucking horrible matchup for him. But he beat Moreno, and I didn't think he was going to beat Moreno. But I think that was more of a case of Moreno either being too comfortable or Moreno just thinking that the fight was in the bag or something. Because that did not look like the normal Brandon Moreno. Maybe it's because it was at elevation. But I'm pretty sure he trained at elevation to get ready for the fight, so that shouldn't have had an effect. Hard to say, but Moreno looked horrible. I've been watching his whole entire career. I've never seen Moreno loop naked overhands like that ever in his life. I've never seen that like so consistently. I've seen it every once in a while. He'll do it, but he did it so fucking often against Royval. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? I was so angry at him. I didn't bet him, but I picked him in Tapology, and I was so angry. Because if I knew he was going to fight like an idiot, I wouldn't have picked him. So I don't know what's going on with Moreno. In the lead up to that fight, the reason why I picked him was because he looked so comfortable, and Royval looked so nervous, like he was like to the Mexican crowd, like he was like explaining himself, like I may not be, Mexican nationality wise, but I'm Mexican ethnicity wise, and he's like, and that's the reason why I'm so. He's like trying to get himself in the good graces of the Mexican crowd, and it just came off as so weak to me. And Moreno looked so at home and so comfortable in front of the Mexican crowd. I was like, oh, Moreno's fucking got this easy. But I think, looking back on it now, I just think Moreno was too comfortable, or you just thought the fight was in the bag, I guess. That's the only way. That's the only thing I could think of why that would happen. Because how does a fighter's fighting abilities, a fighter who's still in his prime, he's only 30, still in his prime, how do your abilities degrade that quickly after one fight? I don't know. Maybe Maybe he was playing with too many Legos and Coronas during crane. I don't fucking know. I told my brother this Moreno guy always straps. It's never good when I try to get someone in MMA off. Oh shit, were you watching it with your brother and you're like, oh shit, yeah, this Moreno, yeah. Oh, that's fucking horrible. That happens a lot, man. That fucking happens a lot. You're like, oh yeah, this is definitely gonna be a good fight, and then it ends up being a snoozer. I think Ngannou, Derek Lewis is the most famous example of that, where I was so excited leading up to that fight. I was like, okay, I actually think Derek Lewis has this fight. Like, I think it's either way, it's gonna be a round one knockout, either fucking way, and it just turns out to be the most boring fight ever. And it was all on Francis Ngannou. Derek Lewis was hurt for that fight, so I don't blame him at all for it. But yeah, it's crazy how that happens. But yeah, this last card with Christian Leray Duncan and Claudio Ribeiro, that was one of those fights where both guys typically bring it. CLD didn't look great in his first two UFC performances, but you could see in his last one and then this last one, he's definitely fighting more like how he did at Cage Warriors. He's pretty good. I don't know how far he can go in a division with Bo Nickel, but if he can stay away from guys like Bo Nickel, I think he beats a lot of people at middleweight. I think he's pretty good. I'm pretty high on CLD. Definitely one of the better British prospects for sure. He's got really good distance management. I think he does that better than pretty much anyone in the middleweight division, other than maybe Izzy or Whitaker. But Whitaker's not really a distance management. Well, everyone's a distance management guy, but Whitaker's like a blitz guy, so the way he has to judge distance is a lot different than the way CLD has to judge distance. So it's kind of, even though it's kind of the same skill, it's also kind of different as well. But I would put CLD in that upper echelon of middleweights who you probably don't want to get in a striking match with. He's very good. Who else is on the card this weekend? I can't remember. Because there's some other interesting prelim fights, if I'm not mistaken. I know the first fight is Moros versus Wood. There's no point in even going into that fight. Like, who fucking cares? Yeah, I don't remember. Jesse, can you tell me, give me some of the other fights in the prelims, and I'll give you my thoughts on it. Like, I'm drawing a blank. I know the two women's fighters, and then Almeida Blades and RDA Gamrot. Fuck. I really don't know. If not, I'm just gonna have to fucking start talking about something non-MMA related, which a lot of non-MMA related things happened in my life since the last time I streamed, actually, that I did kind of want to talk about, just so I can pass on the shit that I learned, because I've had a lot of health issues that I could have totally avoided, and that most people can totally avoid if they actually knew what food is actually good for you and what it's not good for you. But I wanted to make it like its own video on my channel. I can talk about it now, and I can also make it a video on my channel. So I'm pretty sure you guys know, but for like I was vegan for a while. Like, this is years ago, but I was vegan for a while, and then I hadn't been vegan for 6 years, but I still consumed a lot of fruits and a lot of vegetables over this past 6 years. And every single morning up until this last September, every morning in Ohio, since I moved here, I started my morning off with a smoothie, like a bunch of bunch of fruits and a bunch of vegetables, thinking that that's a healthy choice, thinking that that's actually good for you, because that's what they tell you. They say, eat more fruits and vegetables. That's what's healthy. Couldn't be more wrong. Could not be more wrong. There is a chemical, or it's a plant defense chemical that's also naturally produced in human bodies in low amounts, called oxalates. If you've ever heard of oxalates, you want to avoid oxalates. Oh, Pereira. Yeah, oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one. I'll get back to that. Oh, Munoz. Oh, yeah, Munoz Phillips. That's another one. That Munoz Phillips, I think that's a decision written all over it. Whoever wins, I think that's a decision. Munoz is tough as hell. You're probably not going to finish him. Kyler Phillips, I think, is overrated, but he's got a tough style to deal with. Just like his frame is weird, and he's a lot younger than Pedro. But anyways, I'll get back to that. But with oxalates, just real quick, because I want to pass this information on so that maybe someone else doesn't have to go through all the bullshit that I'm currently going through. So the average human can handle roughly 150 to 200 milligrams of oxalates a day in their diet and not have any issues, and can pass it normally without any issues. But if you go over that, your body and your kidneys, they can't excrete it. So what happens is your body will store these crystals in like your soft tissues or your joints or your ligaments or your bones, literally anywhere, in your eyeballs and your scalp. And it will just store there until you go a few days without eating them, and then they will start to excrete out of your urine, out of your skin, all that shit. Anyways, oxalates are super prevalent in spinach, chard, beet greens and beets, basically all nuts. These are all foods that I was eating a lot of. Dark chocolate, super heavy in dark chocolate. Like 1 ounce of dark chocolate is like your entire day's allowance of oxalates. And so my diet was literally, like I said, the maximum threshold that you want to shoot for if you don't have oxalate issues is like 200 milligrams. I was probably at 2 grams. I was like 10 times that probably for most days, for years. And even as a kid, like my parents, they always had nuts. I was eating a bunch of nuts as a kid, and I always had random fucking issues, health issues that I could not explain. Like, just things fucking hurt. My joints fucking hurt. Things would itch, and like things just weren't fucking working right, and I never fucking knew. 30 years, like from age 5 to age 35, things kept getting worse, and like my flexibility was going. My mental capacity was going, and I had different theories as to why. None of it included fucking fruits and vegetables, but the issue was me eating all that fucking spinach and nuts and chocolate and all that shit. And I learned about this in September, and I went on a low oxalate diet. And when the oxalates first started coming out of my body, I swear to God, no joke, for like 2 weeks, I was a chia pet. I'm not exaggerating. My scalp, just intermittently for like an hour a day or so, would just grow, like literally grow crystals out of my head. It was very painful, very itchy. And I'd scratch, and it wasn't dandruff, like the crystals, they crunch in between my fingernails, and they come out of my eyes. You can see it, they come out of my eyes, come out of my skin. Anyways, and those are all oxalate dumping symptoms. And basically it makes you feel like absolute shit. When they come out of your body, when the oxalates come out of your body, they do more damage than going in, which is crazy. So these last 6 months, I've been dealing with all these oxalate dumping symptoms. If you're interested in like learning more about that, there's a woman named Sally Norton. Highly recommend her and reading her book, Toxic Superfoods. But basically, the short story of it is that I went from a very vegetable and fruit heavy diet to I'm not carnivore, but I'm like I would say 80% of the foods I eat are animal products. Like I never ever ate dairy for like the entire time I lived here up until September. I never ate dairy because it always made me break out, and I always had bad stomach issues, stomach and skin issues because of dairy. But the issue actually wasn't dairy. The issue was oxalates in my stomach preventing me from absorbing and assimilating the dairy properly. Because I started eating dairy again because I needed some sort of super calorically dense food to replace all the other calorically dense food I used to eat. So I tried it, and I eat more dairy now than I've ever eaten in my life, by far, and my skin's better than it's ever been. And it's because no oxalates. So now my diet it's like steak and cheese and ice cream and milk and some chicken and pork and lots of fish, lots of sardines, tons of sardines, and then I'll have like a piece of fruit a day. I'll have like an apple or banana or some other low oxalate fruit or a low oxalate vegetable. Maybe I'll have I had a little bit of broccoli yesterday. But ever since removing 90% of the fruits and vegetables in my diet, my health has been slowly getting a lot better, and I've been getting a lot stronger. And I wasn't even able to work out until last month because of an injury. I had a botched blood donation, and I wasn't able to box or work out for 6 months, which led me to abuse alcohol for 6 months. Not horribly, but as someone who typically doesn't drink ever, I was using alcohol to help with my oxalate detox symptoms, and also help with my depression for not being able to work out. I get very depressed if I can't work out. If I can't punch someone in the face, it's very depressing. But anyways, I'm able to work out again, able to box again, and now that here's the crazy. I wanted to talk about this because this is really interesting. So in every person's body who has oxalate issues, and most people have oxalate issues. If you eat greens every day, or if you eat nuts every day, if you eat dark chocolate every day, if you eat beets every day, or often, I guarantee you have issues. Just stop fucking eating those foods. I promise you'll feel better. But the oxalate, every person's body, they store oxalates in different areas. For me, one of the main areas on my body that it stores is my knuckles. Like I feel it. I feel them going in and out of my knuckles all the fucking time. And it's funny because for the last 2 years, every single time I came home from the gym boxing, I would feel fucking horrific. Yeah, pistachios, they're high in pistachios. The two best nuts are macadamia nuts and walnuts. They have the least, but they're still, cashews are horrible. The worst are almonds are by far the worst. Never eat anything with almonds in it ever again. And it's not just oxalates, but also the omega-6 to omega-3 ratio. Almonds are literal human poison. And I had so many almond-based things. Never ever eat an almond ever again. But anyway, so I had all these oxalates in my knuckles, and I'd come home and I'd feel like absolute shit for like hours every single fucking time. And I just assumed like it was a hard workout, a lot of impact, and it's like just hard on my body, hard on my bones. Not at all. What was happening was I was jarring the oxalates out of my knuckles. And you know, it's like when you're punching, like I'd throw thousands of punches in a session, you know? And doing that over and over and over again, and sometimes sparring, getting hit in the face, and there's oxalates in my face. Every time I got hit, it would release some oxalates. And it would make, I just thought it was like me getting old. And no, it was all oxalates, because I recently, I can work out again, and that doesn't happen anymore. Like now, when I come back out of the gym, I feel like I was in the gym, but I don't feel like absolute dog shit anymore, because the majority of the oxalates are not in my knuckles anymore. They were released. So there's I can't even begin to fucking list the amount of negative side effects I had from oxalates, but brain fog, anger issues, emotional issues, skin issues. The whole reason why I was a 35-year-old with acne was because of oxalates. What else? Stomach issues, flexibility issues, ligament and joint issues, tons of ligament and joint issues, knuckle issues, just so fucking many fucking issues that all of them clear. All of them fucking clear once I stop eating this shit. It's incredible. And it's not by accident. It is not a coincidence that over the past 10 years, I believe spinach and almond production in the United States has shot up like 300 or 400%. That's not a coincidence. It is not a coincidence that in the last 10 or 12 years or so, they started listing spinach as a superfood, almonds as a superfood, dark chocolate as a superfood. Does that even fucking make sense to you? Chocolate is a superfood? No. They did that because they want people to be sick. So what they do is like they have the standard shitty food, your McDonald's, your fast food, all that shit. The shit that normies eat that's gonna make you fat, sick, and unhealthy. And then you have the quote unquote healthy food, your fruits and vegetables and nuts that are also actually even more, if just as unhealthy, if not even more unhealthy than that. So I don't see that as a coincidence at all. Oh shit, I was just gonna say something and then I forgot. There was another very interesting side effect of these oxalates that I can't fucking remember. I'm going through dumping symptoms right fucking now. You can't have anything, man. Always something. Seriously, remember they were saying red meat is not. Of course they say that, dude. Red meat is, if there is such a thing as a superfood, it's red meat organs like liver and heart and shit like that, and getting a little bit cold in here. This one. And any fatty fish, so like salmon, sardines. I eat a shitload of that. And I have an app on my phone that tracks all my micronutrients because I'm on a very restrictive diet now, like very, very, very restrictive diet. And at first, when I started the diet, I felt pretty damn good, other than the oxalate dumping symptoms. But after a while, I started feeling worse and worse and worse, and I knew that it was nutrient deficiencies, but I didn't know which nutrients I was deficient in. So I got this app that all you do is just log every single thing that you eat, and I weigh literally everything I eat. I weigh it and log it, so I know, and it tracks all your micros and all your macros. And it turns out I was deficient in 7 different vitamins. So I just went out and got those vitamins, and now I feel fucking great. I highly recommend the app if you're interested in optimizing your health. It's called Chronometer. It's a free app. Like there's things on it that you have to pay for if you want to use extra, but it is free for you. And it actually changed my life. I was so low, believe it or not, in vitamin C because I wasn't eating any fruit anymore. And I was very low in vitamin C, very low in vitamin E, insanely low in B1 and B9, which is funny because not only was I not eating foods with B1 and B9, but consuming alcohol lowers specifically B1 and B9. So the funny thing about that actually is that I was having like addiction issues. Like I wasn't crazy about it. I was probably getting drunk like 3 times a week, I'd say, like between the beginning of August and the end of January. I was getting drunk probably like 3 times a week. But I was compelled to like something in my gut. I just felt like it was my microbiome I developed those bacteria that were feeding on the alcohol. So whenever I went a few days without alcohol, I'd start to crave it just because those things were dying off and they wanted alcohol. That was my theory anyways. But actually what was happening was my body was searching for B1 and B9 and it was thinking that it could get it via alcohol, but it actually couldn't, because this second I bought B1 and B9 and started taking it, literally the day, that was the last day I drank. And I haven't even had any cravings since. Like there's absolutely zero. So I think if you're dealing with alcohol symptoms, alcohol addiction symptoms, take B1 and B9, very huge. And also manganese. I was very low in manganese, and then a few others as well. Yeah, I want to make a video. I want to make like an actual concise video about that, because if I can just help one person, I truly believe this. I believe 33 to 50% out of all quote unquote age-related deaths, heart failure, Alzheimer's, shit like that, you know, shit that happens to you when you get older, it's not age-related whatsoever. It's 100% oxalate related. Like I have no doubt in my mind. Just the shit that I've experienced, and there's so many testimonies of people who've experienced the same shit. And there's just so many former vegans that are now carnivores. They're just a shitload because they ruined their bodies being vegan. You can be relatively low oxalate and be vegan, but it's really hard because most plants and vegetables, they do have some level of oxalates in them. That's the great thing about meat, is that there's no oxalates in it. I think pork has like a tiny bit, like 1 or 2 milligrams per serving or whatever, but it's really negligible. So I've just been downing steaks like almost every day. Like my breakfast used to be a massive smoothie. And the funny thing is, I was so fucking stupid. Every single morning I would have that smoothie. For like the last year I was having it, I would immediately get like a rash on me that it wouldn't last long, but I'd get a rash on me. And my heart would go crazy. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? And for the last 10 years, I assumed I had heart issues because my heart would always fucking go crazy. I don't have heart issues at all. What was happening was when the oxalates, when they go into your body or when they come out of your body, they go through your blood, and they're like these microscopic, like double-sided daggers, and they absolutely ruin all your cell structure and the way your mitochondria function, and they absorb minerals, specifically magnesium and calcium and potassium, and they do so much fucking damage. And one of the most common side effects is like heart palpitations, or it feels like heart palpitations. It's not actual heart palpitations. And I've been dealing with that since I was like 27. Always under the assumption that I had a bad heart. Nope, I have a great heart. And here's another crazy thing. Another crazy thing is I find very interesting. Before, because I assumed I had heart issues, but this was the case. Like, I couldn't eat beef more than 3 times a week, or 3 or 4 times a week. I could do 4 times a week, but I'd always do I'd do one day beef, then one day like chicken, one day beef, one day chicken or fish or whatever. But I'd always try to skip a day. I'd rarely do 2 days back to back because my heart would start to feel the effects of the red meat, because there is a chemical in red meat that isn't good for your heart. However, I eat red meat every single day without exception now, and most days I eat a lot of red meat, and no issues at all. And the 2 reasons for that is A, there's no more oxalates. Well, there are oxalates in my body. There's a lot less oxalates in my body. But B, another reason is that I eat sardines now. Every single morning I eat a hamburger or a pork burger and sardines, and the omega-3s in sardines, they're super protective of your heart. And so I can now eat beef as often as I want, which is amazing because my body, beef has always been beef and seafood have been like the two foods my entire life that I react to the best. And now I can eat them every fucking day. So that's cool. It's just crazy that I used to have so much fucking vegetables in the morning. And now it's literally only meat. It's a can of sardines and a hamburger. And I get so much more nutrition out of the can of sardines and hamburger than I ever did from all the variety I had in my smoothie. It's like spinach and kiwi, blueberries and raspberries and chia seeds, and that's so much shit in it. You get way more nutrition, way more nutrition out of a piece of meat. Way more. And you can prove it to yourself. Just download Chrono Trigger and see for yourself. See exactly how much nutrition you get out of any piece of fruit or any vegetable. Most of them are bullshit. The vast majority, you don't get hardly any of them. Like the only vegetable I really eat these days is broccoli, because broccoli is one of the few that there's actually a good amount of micronutrients in there. But that's my spiel on that. I'm gonna go back to these fights. Yes, Michel Pereira versus Michal Oleksiejczuk. This is an interesting one, mostly because of the body types involved. Because vitamin C. What about vitamin C? Broccoli. Yeah, broccoli has a lot of vitamin. Broccoli has a lot of vitamin C. What was I saying? Yeah. Oh, so Pereira, he's a welterweight who's moved up to middleweight, and I could be wrong. I have to look at them facing off, but I'm 99% sure that Pereira is way bigger than Oleksiejczuk, like way bigger. And Oleksiejczuk was a 205er who dropped down to middleweight, so that's kind of interesting because he looks like he could maybe even, like, if Pereira can get down to welterweight, I feel like Oleksiejczuk can. So body type, it's weird. It's like a very interesting matchup. I have to go Pereira because, like I said, because of the physicality. I think Pereira has the reach advantage. I could be wrong. I think he has the reach advantage. I think he's the overall much bigger guy. That guy was insanely massive for a welterweight. He's fucking huge for a middleweight. Like he legitimately, if he just wanted to build a little bit more muscle, he could legitimately fight at 205, I think. But I think he's going to be too big for Oleksiejczuk because he's got takedowns too. Ole sneaky, good, like fluffy. Oh, dude, I'm a fan of Oleksiejczuk. I pick him most fights. I rate him higher than most people, I think. But just matchup wise, I think Pereira's his flashy striking, his ability to keep distance, and for me the main factor that I'm picking Pereira is that he's not afraid to shoot a takedown either. And I think that's his most obvious path to victory, is just take him down and smash him. And I can see him doing that. So that's the reason why I picked Pereira, is that I think if at any point during the stand-up exchanges Oleksiejczuk starts to get the better of him, I can see Pereira just taking him down and smashing him. Oleksiejczuk just doesn't. He's a good striker. He's got a pretty big weakness on the ground, and Pereira, in my opinion, is very underrated on the ground. So for that one, I'm going Pereira, but I like both fighters a lot. And then Pedro Munoz, Kyler Phillips, I think that's an obvious go-to decision. My safety, I don't know what the odds are on any of them. I haven't looked yet, but my safety parlay will definitely have it will definitely have Pedro Munoz, Kyler Phillips to go to decision. It will have Macy Barber, Chukagian decision, and wait, there was another one too, I think. My buddy got his eardrums blown out by a double barrel shotgun the other day. Wait, wait, is this a joke, or are you serious, Hobknocker? I think you said this in someone's chat. Didn't you say this in someone else's chat recently? I think you did. I'm pretty sure you did. Musicals chat. So I started watching Musical again, like, I don't know. I can't say when because it'll give me what. So obviously not as Six Soul. Musical hates Six Soul, which is funny because Musical loves me. Me and Musical have a great relationship. He just doesn't know we have a great relationship because he doesn't know it's me. I'm not in his streams a lot. But I randomly decided a few months ago to see how his streams are, and like I do think he's funny. There's a certain level of autism and outright retardation that he brings to his streams that really no one else does. And Hobknocker, I'm pretty sure did you not Did you not type that in musical stream not that long ago? I'm pretty sure you did. Well, I think it's funny. I think it's funny that he hates me, but he actually likes me. We have the same exact relationship we had before what was it? Over a year ago? Or was it 2 years ago now? I don't even remember. It's been a while since I've been in Jerusalem. But before all that shit went down, me and Musical were pretty close. And we're close again. It's fun. Like I make the way I type in Musical's chat is exactly the way Six Soul types. I didn't change anything at all. I use some of the same phrases and things that I used to say a few years ago because part of me wants him to realize it's me, just to see if he does. So I don't disguise myself at all. I'm surprised no one's caught on. I'm a little bit surprised, but maybe not. But I feel like I have a very unique typing style, and there's certain things that only I say that no one else says. And yeah, no one's noticed. But it's funny, we have the same exact relationship as we did before. He just doesn't know that it's me. But now it's shit on him though. I've been too nice to him. No, I like Musical. The only thing that bothers me, I'm not gonna expose my alt. No. I'm not gonna expose my alt. I don't want to get banned and I have to make a new alt. I like my alt's name. I think it's funny. Okay, that's my hint. Is that I wouldn't necessarily say it's a clever name, but I personally like it. I think it's a good name for an alt for a mixed martial arts stream. I'll say that much. And he has no idea that it's me because he talked about one of the streams. He literally talked about me in his stream. The crazy. This was like when I first made the alt. I think it might have been the first stream I actually watched of his in like over a year. And Guru came in the stream, and literally the first thing Guru said was like the Six Soul something about the Six Soul situation. And I thought that was funny because he's still under. I actually had no idea up until that moment that Guru. That my name was even in Guru's head. I didn't know, I knew that he saw those, I knew that he was aware of that shit, but I didn't know if he actually believed it or not. But then I saw that and he was like, oh shit. I just thought it was crazy that he actually mentioned me and thinks that I'm the one who doxed him. It's funny. No, I didn't dox him. I might have publicly released it to a very small amount of people, but only after other people publicly released it to also a small amount of people. I never went crazy with it, and I'm not the one who doxed him. And Musical talks about this a lot in his streams. His streams are good, but I get very frustrated with his streams for two reasons. One, whenever Rigo is brought up, which is often, he just goes on an insane Rigo tangent. It's just nonstop. It's okay, I get it, you hate Rigo. I don't like Rigo either. I get it. I'll make fun of Rigo. I have no issue with that. But it's incessant. It's like one time he was shitting on Rigo for 10 minutes or something. I'm like, this is stupid. It's just gossip bullshit. Half of it's not even true. It's I know for a fact half of it's not true. He loves to say that Rigo doxed Guru. And that Rigo was a prominent member in that group. I was fucking there. I know. I fucking know. Rigo had nothing to do with it at all. So that shit kind of bothers me. And then Musical just has this thing where he gets obsessed with people he hates. He hate watches things. He likes watching things and talking about people he hates. It's why, dude? The internet is such a big fucking place. There's so many people you can find that you like. Why would you waste your time watching someone you don't fucking like? That's my biggest issue with Musical. But overall, I still really like his streams. His Oh my God, were any of you there for his Pretty Tranny song? Did any of you hear his Pretty Tranny song? That was maybe one of the funniest things I've ever heard on any stream. I think I actually shed a tear on that. Do you know the song Pretty Woman by Roy Orbison? He did a cover called Pretty Tranny. And it truly was one of the most creative and funny things I've ever heard in my life. So, yeah, I'm kind of funny seeing the blatant lies to get back in Guru. Oh my God, dude. Yeah. Absolute blatant lies. Like, me and Rigo are the scapegoats, but me and Rigo did absolutely, well, okay, I did a little bit. But once again, I did that because I was kicked out of Jerusalem. It didn't, and like, I don't know. I'm not condoning what I did. What was it, a year and a half ago, whatever it was. But like, nothing happened to Guru because of what I did at all. Like, the story about the cops coming, like, that was a lie, 100%. I cannot believe. I cannot believe that people still believe that story, or people like, how do people, like, everyone that was in that group and everyone who knows, like, Guru wasn't just exposed for his location. He was exposed as a liar. He was exposed as a dirty liar because we found his location based on his brother's Taekwondo medals. Like, they weren't his, they were his brother's. After knowing that whole Taekwondo story was bullshit, which is like a pretty crazy thing to lie about, in my opinion, how can you then believe Guru when he says he got swatted? Why the fuck would police come to his house because 100 random people, mostly in the United States, know his address? That makes no fucking sense to me at all. Unless you're saying like someone called the cops, but no one fucking did that. There's no way anyone fucking did that. You know what I mean? Like, none of us hate Guru to the point where we would do that, or like prank him. Like, I just don't believe anyone would fucking do that. Maybe I'm wrong. And someone did it as a joke, but it doesn't add up to me. And as Guru's history, his long history as a lying sack of shit, it blows my mind that Musical believes the things he says still. Like, because I don't really watch Guru anymore, but like, I hear about Guru via Musical streams sometimes, and because I heard Musical talking about, I guess this is allegedly, because I don't believe this at all, but maybe you guys know if you still watch Guru. Guru said that when he was in South Africa, that he had like a threesome or a foursome with some black chicks in South Africa or some shit, which that right there, but he's still a kissless virgin. Like, what? How does that happen? But he said something about one of them tickling his toes or some shit. That's what Musical said. Like, I don't know. If you guys watch Guru, like, you can give me some clarification, because I don't know. But he was saying Musical was talking about it as if it was the truth. Like, he didn't even question that it might be a lie, that's just insanity to me. Guru has been lying about his virginity status since he fucking first started streaming. And him, like, I think he is, right? Isn't he still allegedly kissless? I'm pretty sure. Could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. How in the hell do these things add up whatsoever? And what fucking woman, African or otherwise, is gonna tickle Guru's feet? I know he's in a fucking wheelchair, but still, like, why would you, like, were they trying to see if he had feeling in his feet? Like, that's the only thing to think of, but, like, I don't know, it doesn't make any sense to me. I've been watching Guru, not a ton. I don't remember him saying that. According to Musical, he did. Yeah, I think that's a thing. Just the way Musical was talking about, like, Musical wouldn't make that up. Musical only lies to save his own ass. Musical only lies to save his own ass. I've never once heard Musical like say that it was him that it was him and Mark Calzone. It was those two guys. It was their idea to find out where Guru lives. No one else's. It was there too, and then a few other people decided to go in on the effort to find where he lives. But it was Musical, and yeah, obviously he didn't mean for it to like become public, but he's the one that fucking did it. I didn't fucking find out where fucking Guru lives. You think I'm gonna fucking waste my fucking time figuring out? Like it was a lot. It took them hours. It was like 7 people, and it took hours for them to figure out where he lived. Like, I'm not gonna fucking do that. I mean, I figured out where Wheelchair Guru lived, but that wasn't like me taking out. That was literally just over the course of watching his streams. When I did watch, like he doxed himself. Like, he kept giving clues to where he lived because he's a fucking retard, and so that was his logic. Like, that wasn't me. Like trying to figure out where he lives. That was me just using logic. I gotta fucking pee right now. I hope no one sees me. Besides you guys. You guys get to see me. It's gonna be a long one. Oh God. Oh shit. Oh my God. So one of the worst things about oxalate dumping is that like it mostly comes out of your pee, and it fucking hurts hell. Like the worst pee pains you could ever imagine. It hurts your bladder, but it also hurts the tip of your pee-pee. Like the very tip of your pee-pee where the pee-pee comes out. It feels like before I knew what was going on, I was scared because it feels like a whole bunch of capsaicin or something, like coming out of your pee-pee, which that doesn't happen. Because like it burns, like it really fucking burns. And okay, good. Yeah, I was worried, and like worried like why it felt like staples in my bladder and shit. But it all makes sense when you learn like what the chemical structure of oxalates are and how like the actual method of how it works. But yeah, every time I pee-pee, it fucking hurts pretty much. And it's so cloud. My pee-pee for the last, I don't know, 2 or 3 years, my pee-pee had been getting progressively cloudier and cloudier and smellier and smellier. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I'm not eating, and I was eating what I thought was healthy, and I didn't understand. But that was all oxalates. I was working with some black chick with big knockers earlier. She kept telling me what to do, but I was so distracted. What type of knockers, Hob Knocker? Are we talking about, like, what were her knockers like proportionate to her body? Whereas like she had big knockers, but she was also kind of like a big chick, and it just kind of worked together? Or was she like a skinny chick with like massive fucking tits? Because those are the ones that are the most distracting, I would say. It's like those skinny girls where they're just like a stick and there's these giant boobs. It's not even attractive. It's actually gross. Like, that's actually like one of my least favorite body types. Is like skinny chicks. Period. Fuck that shit. I don't like skinny chicks. But specifically skinny chicks with massive boobs, and specifically skinny chicks with massive boobs and no ass. That's the fucking worst. But it's so, even though I'm not sexually attracted to it, like physically, just my eyeballs just go straight to the fucking boobs because they're so abnormally huge, if you know what I'm talking about. And then they think I'm sexually attracted to them, but I'm not. Like, I don't even think I've ever. No, I don't think I've ever even had sex with a girl with more than average boobs. I'm trying to think, but I don't think I have. They're either always average or small boobs, which is by design, because I project into the future how these boobies are gonna look like, in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years down the line. Big boobies don't age well. That's my biggest issue with big boobies is that there's no future with big boobies. They're just gonna droop down to their belly button, and they're gonna make me want to puke. So yeah, small boobies all day or normal sized boobies. I'm trying to think. I feel like I'm missing someone that maybe did have big boobies and I don't remember, but generally speaking, little boobs better. Big ass, little boobs. Yeah, definitely. Oh, it's. Well, I don't want to talk about that. Never mind. That's just too degenerate. Oh, but yeah, back to my buddy got his eardrums blown away by a double-barreled shotgun. I never actually gave you words of wisdom. I don't know if this is true, but so can he not hear anything at all? And did it, like how does that happen? Was he at like a firing range? Yeah, I actually can't give any words of wisdom because I need to know more details. That is fucking interesting though, and I am pretty sure you wrote that in Musicals chat. Pretty sure. I'm in there probably like once a week. Ish. His channel's been doing pretty good, which is nice for him. But even though he hates me, I still like to see. Yeah, I guess Guru really fucking hates me. If my name is in Guru's head a year after like the last time he's even seen my screen name anywhere, then he definitely hates me. But I still I wish Guru nothing but the best. Glad his channel's going high. And same with Musical, same with Rigo, same with everyone. Even Wheelchair Guru. Like Wheelchair Guru is a very, very angry little man who has a lot of fucking issues. But like I don't wish him, like I would never try to get him canceled. Like I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure when I did my Wheelchair Guru video, I'm pretty sure he went on all his alts and reported my video. And then he made a video about me and like, I didn't watch it, but I didn't report, I just wouldn't report anyone ever because I just don't want to see. I just hate censorship, you know? Like I just don't. I think the internet is free and you should be able to say and do whatever the fuck you want. And even if that's shitting on me and lying about me, like whatever, dude. Like I don't. Yeah, I don't wish. I don't wish his channel anything bad. If he died tomorrow, I wouldn't care. I would actually laugh hysterically because I do think that day is probably coming. I'm pretty sure he's a fentanyl addict. Not 100% sure, but just the way I haven't seen him in a really long time, to be fair. Like, I haven't been in a Wheelchair Guru stream since a little bit after all that shit went down. So probably like over a year. So I don't know what he looks like now, but if he's on the same route that he was, then he's no doubt a fentanyl addict. And it would be kind of funny if he like just died in a ditch or something. But that's just for pure comedic purposes, not that I wish that upon him, if that makes any sense. Death is funny. Especially when it's fentanyl, just because that's the dumbest drug. Let's talk about fentanyl. It blows my mind. Like, so when fentanyl first like became infected in the United States drug supply, it was an additive. You'd add it to heroin to make it more powerful, make it more addictive, and shit like that, right? And now, like they come in like these blue pills or something, and they know they're buying. Like this is what my sister does. Blows my fucking mind that anyone, period, would knowingly and willingly buy fentanyl and do it. It's not a fun drug. Like it's not. In my opinion, like there's nothing really recreational about it. It's not fun, and it's the crack version of heroin, but crack is way more fun. Like crack actually is a little bit fun. I don't condone it, but it is actually a little bit fun. Whereas fentanyl, it's not fun. It's not fun in the fucking slightest. And I get that it's cheap, and I get that these people are addicts and they have no hope and whatever. But the fact that there are like hundreds of thousands of people knowingly purchasing fentanyl with nothing else. It's just fentanyl, maybe cut with like Drano or some shit. And they're addicted to it. It blows my fucking mind. Like, I want to ask Wheelchair Juru about this. Like, what? Like, dude, what are you doing, man? Like, what the fuck? It doesn't make any sense to me. Oh, and then Trank's even worse. Like, I don't know. I as a former addict who's like I did everything, and like there's certain things that I at my absolute lowest, there's still certain things that I wouldn't do, and these people are like way below that. And I just don't understand. It's sad. I mean, it's sad that my sister's doing everything, especially since she has a fucking kid. It just doesn't make sense to me how, like, I understand it's an addictive drug. I accidentally got addicted to it when I didn't know. But literally the second I realized that it was fentanyl, literally the moment I realized it was fentanyl, I was like, okay, well, I'm not doing this anymore. Like, it was that simple. And yeah, the withdrawals were shitty for a few weeks, but like then I was fine. Like, that's what withdrawal symptoms are. You feel like shit for a while, and then you're gonna be okay. So yeah, this conversation took like a weird fucking turn, but I see a lot of it around, like just people that are obviously on drugs and cheap drugs, and like, no joke, just smoking weed is a million times more enjoyable than smoking fentanyl. It just blows my, like, just that fact alone. That alone, like, you can get it both for roughly the same price. Why would you not just get a fucking bowl? Like, why would you not just smoke a bowl of weed, which isn't that addictive? Well, I say that, but I have been smoking weed for 21 years, almost nonstop. But so maybe it is more addictive. But it's the only drug I do now, so maybe it is more addictive. But like, I do it because there's no massive side effects. However, each strain of weed has its own level of oxalates, and the more stale it gets, the more oxalates it builds. And recently, like a few weeks ago, my dealer, he got a new strain, and it was very obviously loaded with oxalates. Like, I know immediately I smoke it, I feel it immediately, and like all the symptoms come. It's like, fuck. So I went to a new guy, and his had less oxalates, but it still had a shitload of fucking oxalates in it. So these past few weeks, I've been making like oils and edibles and shit to try to extract the THC from the weed without while getting as minimal oxalates as possible. And like, I've had varying degrees of success. I still haven't found a way where I can extract all the good shit and not all the bad shit. It seems like they are kind of connected to each other, sadly. There's another. So I was allergic to weed, like stale weed, for fucking years, and I still am because of the oxalates. But I was like deathly allergic. Like, if I just had one bowl of stale weed, my nose would be fucked for like hours and hours, and I just couldn't breathe for fucking hours, and it felt like I poisoned myself. So I've always tried to stay away from stale weed. Now it doesn't do that to me, but it still really fucks me up. And these past few weeks, I'm having more oxalate symptoms because I'm ingesting it via smoking it a little bit. I've barely been smoking it at all. Maybe once a day. But I've been just eating the oil and shit, and I've been doing the oil in different ways. And yeah, I have yet to have a method that gets all the, not just the THC, but also all the cannabinoids and all that shit. You want to absorb all that shit, but not the fucking oxalates. And I thought I finally did it yesterday. Like, it looked like I got like a pure THC oil. And then I had like a whole bunch of it last night, and it was so weak. I was like, what the fuck happened? Like, I used more weed, but I used a different technique that I thought was gonna filter out just the oxalates and not the THC, but I think it filtered out. I don't think it filtered out THC, but I think it filtered out the cannabinoids too, because oxalates are water soluble, and so my first thought was like, okay, well, let's cook it in oil. I'll just simmer it in oil for a few hours, and that works really, really well in terms of just extracting all the good shit out of there. And it does lower like not all the oxalate out of the weed comes into the oil, but like a decent amount does. So then I tried simmering in oil, but also having water in it. And I thought, and my idea was that all the THC and stuff is going to go to the oil, and all the oxalates are going to go to the water, and I just discard the water and just have the oil. And yeah, I think what happened was all the, because I think a lot of cannabinoids are water soluble, so all like the things that like help you feel good when you smoke weed, they all left in the water, and I was only left with THC oil, and it just pure THC. It just doesn't do it for me, I guess. I don't know. But this new dealer I have, he first off, he's super ridiculously cheap. He showed me these he has these dabs that are like 85% THCs. I've never seen anything that high before in my life. It was literally just crystals. Just white fucking crystals. And I was stupid. I should have just bought it then, but I wasn't thinking properly. And like I already had my sack that I got from him. I should have just got more then. Dude, but I wasn't. But I didn't know that the weed he gave me was what's it called? I didn't know that it had oxalates in it, or like a bunch of oxalates. So yeah, it's fucking. It's really fucking annoying that I have to fucking be so, what's it called, regimented in the anything I consume. I can't even, like most alcohol too. Like I had issues with alcohol. The only alcohol I can really drink is gin, because it's very low in oxalates. Like vodka, most vodka is so insanely high in oxalates because potatoes are high in oxalates. Tequila is ridiculous. Like I can't ever drink tequila or vodka ever again in my life. I can't drink beer. They say beer is low oxalates, but I call bullshit on that because wheat is not low oxalate. It's a moderate oxalate food. But the thing about oxalates, and this is why my smoothies were so fucking bad, is that they're more easily absorbed into your bloodstream when they're in liquid form. So ironically, I thought I was doing a good thing, like blending up all my nutrients, all my nutrients in the morning. All I was really doing was making the oxalates in those foods, which were already so insanely abundant, I was making it like triply more bioavailable. So like it cannot be overstated enough that like don't fucking eat fucking vegetables anymore. Don't fucking juice, period. Like just don't. If you have to have a smoothie, I think like pineapple, mango, yogurt would be like a good smooth combination, all pretty low oxalates, but like anything with chia seeds, anything with any vegetables in it, juicing it all, it's fucking absolutely horrible for you. What's my day job? I don't have a day job right now. I have a night job. When they gonna open marijuana shops and all that? So it takes, I'm trying to think. So, because I was in California and Washington well, you were in Washington too, though, Jesse, right? When they first made it legal, it takes like from the moment that they make it legal to the first recreational shop, it usually takes, I'd say like, I think it's like a year and a half for you to first see the first shops pop up. But then you got like another few years after that before there's enough shops around where it drives the prices down. Because I remember the first shops in Seattle were so fucking expensive. It was like, no joke, it was like $70, $75 for an eighth. And even though it was like really good weed, like what the fuck? I literally just bought a half ounce for $40. And yeah, there's oxygen, but actually the quality of the I'd say it's a little bit stale, but the actual quality of the weed was still good. Like I definitely got high from it. And it was better than the shit that I was buying previously. That was like $30 an eighth. So I expect in Ohio you're gonna get the first shop in Cleveland, or the first few shops in Cleveland. It's gonna be like that. It's gonna be probably at minimum $60 an eighth, if not more. Which they price themselves out. I feel like the only people that go to those shops during those times, I think, are like the normies who just don't want to deal with a weed dealer, which is understandable. So I would say it passed last November. So I'm gonna guess early 2025 is when you'll see the first marijuana shop, like recreational marijuana shop. And when you'll actually be able to go in there and like get a good deal, it will probably be 2028, 27 at the earliest. So like I don't really have my hopes up for it. But Jesse, if you want to go to a recreational marijuana shop with insanely good prices, if you want to take a drive down to Michigan, there's a few stores in Michigan that their prices are so fucking so insanely low because there's so much competition. Like I was seeing some you can get there. I'm sure it's shitty weed, but like you can get weed for like $1 a gram. You literally can at some places in Michigan. So that's what I would recommend. Like if you do want that, even when the shops open in Ohio, it's still gonna, even though you have to pay for gas, it's still gonna be way more cost effective to drive to the 2.5 hours to Michigan. I think that, I forgot what it's called, but there's a place in Luna Pier, Michigan, which is it's like 20 minutes north of Toledo, maybe 30 minutes north of Toledo. And that's where like the really, really cheap marijuana place is. It's fucking awesome. I went there once a while ago, and it's definitely worth the drive. Yeah, I can't remember what it's called, but if you just Google Maps over to Luna Pier and type in recreational marijuana, like it'll pop up, and that's my recommendation, because you can get really, really good everything is just super cheap, and allegedly Ohio passed basically the same type of bills that Michigan did. So when they first made it legal, but I believe Michigan made it legal like in 2014 I believe it's 2014. So they've been at it for 10 years now. So in 10 years time, my prediction is that Ohio will have a whole bunch of really, really cheap weed that's probably pretty good. But yeah, I don't have any hope for it in the near future. Jesse, here's a question, Jesse. Are you excited for the full eclipse? Because Cleveland is directly in the path of totality of the full eclipse. And funny thing about the eclipse is going to go into astrology talk, but I think it's interesting. The last eclipse, which was 6 years, 6 months, 6 weeks, and 6 days before this next one's going to be, I just moved here like a few months before, and Cleveland wasn't in the totality path. It was halfway, and no joke, the day before, I remember the night before the eclipse, that was my final relapse of hard drugs. Like I haven't done any hard drugs since. And I knew, and I was compelled, and I hadn't done any for a while at that time. It had been like over a year. And I was absolutely compelled to go out and get drugs that night. And subconsciously, I knew that it was connected to, wait, you don't know about the full eclipse? Dude, 4/8, April 8th, around 3 p.m.-ish, Cleveland's gonna be completely dark for a few minutes. It's really cool. Like, so I saw the partial, even the partial eclipse is really cool, but this is gonna be full eclipse. But astrologically, And a lot of people, I've done a lot of research online, like a lot of people who have gone through full eclipse, like lived under a full eclipse, they've said like the worst years of their life like happened right after. But then there's other people that say like it was like a reset. Like there's certain spiritual things you have to do to make sure that it's not fucking horrible for you. I know that. And the effects of the eclipse happen, they say 6 months before to 6 months after. And I think that's funny because like I said with my like minor alcohol addiction, these past 6 months up until last month, in my mind I was like, oh shit, this is like, I'm sure this has to do with the eclipse, because yeah, like I haven't had issues with alcohol in a really long time, and I was kind of scared that I was gonna be like go down a fucking crazy drug path again, just because now it's a full eclipse. But yeah, this last month I've been really good. But anyways, what was I saying about the full eclipse? Here's something to know about the full eclipse, Jesse. Do not eat. You have to. You don't have to, but I suggest that you fast on the day of the eclipse. Something about eclipses that it ruins the nutritional value of foods. I know it sounds weird, but these things do have an effect on our consciousness and an effect on the things around us. But yeah, I was scared of it. I'm still kind of scared. But ever since the last eclipse, I've been looking forward to this eclipse. Because there's like 99.9999% of all people who have ever lived have never seen a full solar eclipse. Like it's such a rare thing that happens. And there's a whole bunch of political and things involving sports. There's just an assload of fucking things that are connected to the eclipse, the presidency. Like I predict, this is my official prediction, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be right. Could be wrong. I'm pretty sure it's going to be right. I believe that our dear president right now, Sleepy Joe, I don't think he's going to make it. I don't think he's going to make it to this next presidency. In fact, I think it's going to happen really soon. I wouldn't even be surprised if it happens in a few days. I really wouldn't. That he croaks. I would not be surprised. I do believe that Kamala is going to be our 47th president, and it's all tied to the eclipse. And then I believe Donald Trump is going to win the election, and he will become the 48th president. That's my prediction. And Kamala is going to be our first women's president. And there's a whole bunch of foreshadowing things that starting, I think, back in in the 70s and then 80s and 90s, a whole bunch of things foreshadowing this event. And I'm sure you guys know that our beloved president isn't even our beloved president. Like, clearly not the original JB. Clearly not. So when he does that, it's going to be like a symbolic, ritualistic type thing. Like, who knows when he officially dies? Who knows if he is already dead? Like, a part of me thinks he died a long time ago, and then there's a part of me that thinks he's just doing something else. Like, wherever he's doing, he's not doing what most people think he's doing. That's for sure. Definitely been. I don't know if he's been cloned like a lot of the rappers have been cloned. Oh, here's something interesting to talk about. Have you guys gone down the cloned rappers rabbit hole? Jesse, have you gone down the cloned rappers rabbit hole? That is one of the most interesting and freaky rabbit holes you can go down, I think. But it is my opinion. I think it's a fact at this point. Like, when you go down it, like, you'll see for yourself, and because it's not like a conspiracy. Like, there's a lot of things where there's a lot of speculation and whatnot. But with the clone rapper, there's literal rapper, there's literal, as you can see, of rappers with their clone. Like Lil Boo, I've never heard his name, but like I was watching a video where he's like, yeah, this is my clone, and you see it's his fucking clone. He's like, yeah, I paid $2 million. He literally says, I paid $2 million for this, and this is my fucking clone. And Trippie Redd and someone else, they literally say they're like third generation clones. But like, if you want like visual evidence of cloning, like, look at Eminem Look at any picture of Eminem, 2004 below or before. That was actual Eminem, real human Eminem. And then look at any picture since then, and tell me you don't fucking see the fucking differences. Like the complexion and the skin, it doesn't look real. The funny thing about this is that my ex-girlfriend told me about this when we first got together, like years and years ago. And I didn't believe her at all. I was like, what are you talking about? And Eminem was like her favorite artist ever. Like she was very emotionally connected to Marshall Mathers. And she's like, yeah, that's not him anymore. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And she got really emotional about it. She's like, I'm not talking to you about it. Like, she's like, I know it is. Like, I know for 100% for sure, like there's no way you can convince me otherwise. She's like, I'm like one of his biggest fans. I would know if it was him or not. I was like, okay, sure enough. And then we never talked about it for the rest of the relationship, a long relationship. We never ever talked about it. And I didn't think anything of it again. And then a few years ago, I came across a video of Eminem's been cloned, and I went down that rabbit hole, and I was like, oh shit, and I was like, oh shit, she's right. This is where it gets interesting. This is where it gets really interesting. So like Stephanie, I was under the impression that Eminem was probably dead, and that they cloned him. Like whether the elites they killed him or like he died accidentally and they wanted to keep making money off his name. Who knows? But I was like, yeah, he's probably dead. Like that's clearly not the original Eminem. Like it's 100. There's so much evidence, so much insane evidence that that's not the original Eminem. Anyone, like if you actually go down that rabbit hole and you think, there's a lot of people who do think it's still the real Eminem. Like I have to question your sanity and your ability to think straight, because real humans don't look like that. And there's just so much difference between 2004 Eminem and his music then versus his music now. Like there's a big fucking difference. But anyways, recently, as in like a week ago, I went down another rabbit hole, another cloning rabbit hole. And I'm sure you guys know Tom MacDonald. Most people, well, I don't know, conservatives either love him or hate him. They love him because they think like he's one of us, or they hate him because they think he's a grifter. Either way, it does not fucking matter. What does matter is that, in my opinion, that is Eminem. That's Marshall Mathers. And I have no doubt in my mind. If you guys don't know, there's a song that Tom MacDonald released in 2019 called Cloned Rappers. He's talking about it. Fucking watch that music video. Watch that music video. But listen to it. In the song, one of the lyrics is, Eminem hasn't rapped since Encore, know that. And when he says know that, the way he says know that, it's exactly Marshall Mathers' voice. It sounds like it. And the chorus of that song, when he says, I can't be replicated, sounds exactly like Marshall Mathers. And it's funny because, so like the whole song is about how you can't replicate Tom MacDonald. Like he's one of a kind. Even if you did clone him, it would still never be him. That's the outward message of the song. But the tongue-in-cheek message of the song, if you read between the lines, it's very obvious. He's saying you can't clone him because he's not a real person. Tom MacDonald's not a real person. Tom MacDonald is just Eminem in a mask. And this is another reason I know. The eyes, it's hard to find like good pictures of Eminem's and Tom MacDonald's eyes, but like they do exist, and I could show you side by side. They had Marshall Mathers had a very, very unique like iris pattern, and Tom MacDonald's same exact iris pattern, and not only that, the eyes are the same distance apart. Like you overlay it, and it's exactly the same. And another reason why I think this is that like Eminem, he's gone. Like this is like the third or fourth version of his clone. Like you can see it. Like look, Google 2004 Eminem. That's real Eminem. Then Google like 2007, 2008 Eminem. That's like version 1 clone. And then Google like 2015 Eminem. Or no, 2007. That's like the next clone. Because I think they cloned his clone because he keeps looking more and more strange and weird and less human as it goes on. So I actually think they're cloning clones. I truly believe that. But anyways, in 2014 he went away. In 2015 he went away, and he came back in 2017. And his album, released in 2017, is called Revival. Why is that interesting? Because that was the year that Tom MacDonald rose to fame. He had been rapping before, but that was the year when he actually got notoriety, and he became in the public eye. So, but here's the kicker. Here's the kicker where I know 100%. Other than just visualize looking, like if you just look at Tom MacDonald, he does not look like a real human being to me. White guys do not have lips that big. I'm sorry, they don't. White guys, like anyone with Caucasian skin, you can see the like differences in skin tone, like where the blood's flowing, you know. And that's like the main difference between like old Eminem and new Eminem. Is like new Eminem. It's just one color. It's just one fucking. It looks like someone's wearing an Eminem mask. Anyways, and Tom, he looks like he's wearing. It does not look like him. But here's the kicker. So yeah, 2019, Tom MacDonald writes a song about cloned rappers, and in the song, he talks about how Eminem hasn't been Eminem since 2004. Then why, dear God, why in the hell would Tom MacDonald in 2021 write a song called Dear Slim? And Dear Slim is just a tribute song to Eminem, and it's about how Eminem allegedly inspired Tom MacDonald to start his career. Now, you tell me, if 2 years prior Tom's saying he's a clone, like that's not the real Eminem, why the fuck would he write a song about a clone? He knows it's a clone. The clone didn't inspire him. Why the fuck would he do that? It makes no logical sense. The only thing that makes fucking sense is that it's actually Eminem. That's why he would actually do it. That's my theory, but it's not a theory. Like, it's not a theory. And this is my theory though. Like, Eminem is fucking. He is Tom MacDonald. I know that for sure. At the very very least, Tom MacDonald is a clone. The guy wearing the Tom MacDonald mask is just another Eminem clone. That's a possibility. The reason why I don't think it's that is because one of the big tells that Eminem is a clone is that his music, like his old music, his real music, the way he rapped, he had a certain emphasis, he had a certain style and swag. Like it was very him. Like it had a very unique vibe to it. And now he doesn't have that at all. But the thing is, Tom MacDonald has that style. He has that swag. Like it's hard to describe, but like if you know the music I'm referring to, like you'll agree. When he sings, it sounds human. He doesn't look human, but it sounds human. His emphasis on certain words, like it's got soul behind it. That's the word for it. It's got soul behind it. Eminem's new music has no soul behind it. His old music has tons of soul behind it. Tom MacDonald's music has soul, very reminiscent of Eminem. So that's a weird random fucking tangent, but I've been oh god, I have so many I have the craziest fucking stories actually that like involve this, but I can't actually. No one's really watching right now, but still, I cannot fucking talk about it online that much. But I could probably allude to certain things. I'm gonna allude to certain things, because it was the craziest experiences of my life are connected to this whole fucking Tom MacDonald thing. So, 11 years ago, roughly 11 years ago. I don't know. I don't think I can actually say it. No, I think I put myself in danger if I actually say it. I was privy when I was living in LA. I had a chance encounter with a celebrity. I can say that. I think I had a very chance encounter with a celebrity, and we hit it off. And he invited me. Oh man, I guess so fucking iffy on this. I don't know if I should say it. But he invited me to a party, all right? Like a Hollywood elite party. Like crazy. I cannot say what I saw there, but crazy, easily the craziest experience of my life. Now, after that party happened, I completely forgot that I went there. for 10 fucking years. I saw so many celebrities there. And those celebrities I saw again, like over the past 10 years, like I'd see them on screen or whatever. And it never occurred to, it never registered in my mind. I never remembered that. I was like, oh yeah, I actually met them in real life. Never actually did. It was as if that one night of my life, literally the craziest night of my life, never fucking happened. It's just completely wiped from my memory. And then I was like a month and a half ago or so, I was on an insane mushroom trip. I was doing mushrooms a lot. Like January, February, I was doing a ass load of mushrooms. Taking a break just because I was doing so much, like my tolerance was too high. But I was doing like huge mushroom trips, like every other day or every third day for about 2 months. And like one of my biggest trips is like all of a sudden, all these memories start flooding back of that night. And I'm like, holy fucking shit. What the fuck? What in the absolute fucking fuck is this shit? Why the fuck did I not remember this shit? Like how is this even fucking possible? This is the most memorable experience of my life. Why would I not remember this shit? And then like it took a while, but I remember I was like, oh shit, they made me do a ritual and I didn't know what it was for. I didn't know what it was for at the time. Now I'm assuming it was like some sort of ritual to help me forget, because this was an elite party. Like most of the people I saw there, I recognized. So I was way out of my fucking element, like way the fuck out of my element. And like when you go to these parties, like you have to sign an NDA, and you can't bring your cell phone. Like they take your phone, they strip search you. Like you can't. It's very secretive. But anyway, so right before I left that party, like they made me do like a semi fucked up ritual, and I can get into it. And I remember at the time, like I remember being, it's like there's nothing. I had just moved to LA. I didn't know anyone other than my roommate. And I didn't have my phone, and I was like in the middle of fucking Beverly Hills. There's just some random guy with a bunch of celebrities. I didn't have a choice in the matter. It was very, very fun. Like that night was very, very fun. But I saw a whole bunch of like so much fucked up shit. I doubt anyone watching this would even believe me. The things I saw. But whatever you're thinking happens at elite Hollywood parties when it comes to like demonic rituals and like sex shit. It's way crazier than whatever you're thinking. I promise you that I can tell you. So I remembered it. I was like, what the fuck? And that was kind of fucking with my head for a few days. There's actually a whole bunch of strings to this story that I won't be able to say because I'm winding down anyways, but I'm gonna finish this part. So I made contact. Let's call them the elite. You can call it whatever you want. I touched base with the elite, and I did a ritual with the elite, and this was really like, it was fucking with my head for days, because not only was this like the strangest thing ever in my life, but I'm also, I was also on a whole bunch of shrooms at the time, so I was really more in like an esoteric mode than I normally am, and I'm almost always in an esoteric mode. Anyways, the next time I did a trip, it was like 2 or 3 days later, did an even bigger one, because I kept doing bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger ones. That was my thing. I started like 2 grams, and it was like 2.2, 2.4, 2.6, 2.8, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It just kept going like that. I think this was like a 9-gram trip or something. It was something stupid. And I got a voice in my head. I might sound schizo here, but it's true. This is what happened. I had a voice in my head it wasn't my voice. It's a much different when someone's trying to communicate with you telepathically versus you just thinking you have a voice in your head. Way different feeling. I've only had this happen a few times in my life, period. And this is the only time it happened on psychedelics. But it felt like this entity or person, whatever you want to call it, was like a middleman to a very powerful organization. Like, I'm going to say it's like that elite organization. And that day, literally that day before I took the shrooms, I was trying to record a song, because I'm an emo kid. I'm an emo kid. I can sing and scream, and I've been working on that craft for years now. And but I wasn't able to finish the song because when I was 15 or so, I was screaming improperly, and I've had nodes in my throat ever since. So my ability to sing or scream for a long time, like, it's very compromised. I used to have a very limited window of time where I'd actually sound good and it wouldn't destroy my throat, because I had like a very, very big node, like right at my vocal break. Very annoying. And so that was on my mind. I wasn't able to do what I wanted to do. And this guy he's talking. He's like, "Do you want to fix your voice?" That's what this voice said. The voice in my head asked me if I wanted to fix my voice, and I said, "Yeah, dude." I was like, "That's like, fuck yeah!" Like, I've had this shit for 20 years. Like, I still fancy myself like a failed rock star. Of course, a fucking course. And he goes, "All right, you have to get sick. Like, you're gonna have to be sick for a while." And I was like, "Sure, I don't fucking care." He's like, it's not gonna be a horrible sickness. It's gonna be like an 8 out of 10. You're gonna feel like shit for a week, but then that node in your throat is gonna be gone, and you'll be able to sing. Anyways, next day I wake up. I don't remember any of that at all. Right? I don't remember any of that. And sure enough, I have this tickle in my throat, and I'm like, "That's strange. I haven't been sick, and like, I don't get sick. Like, I'm a Wim Hofer, like, I take my vitamins and shit. I don't get sick." And sure enough, that little tickle turned into like what felt like strep throat. Like, it was really, really intense. And the craziest thing was it was all focused directly on that node, but it didn't spark my memory of my conversation the night before. And so for a week I was sick. I didn't do shrooms because I didn't feel like good, and I didn't sing at all because it hurt so bad. So like a week went by, and then I finally feel good, and so I do shrooms, and then that voice pops to my head, and I'm like, "Oh shit!" And I immediately remember everything. I was like, "Oh shit! That's why I was sick, because I agreed to it. That's why I was sick. It wasn't because of a what's it called? It wasn't because of a bacteria or a virus. It was because, hold on, it was because, dude, I didn't see it. You look like Ian Gary's cousin who plays volleyball. Thank you. Wait, where was I? This is important. I'm gonna get this before I go. Oh yeah, so everything goes back in my head, and then I immediately start singing and screaming, and completely gone. I don't know. You guys could probably hear it. I had my friend and my coworker both say that my voice sounds different, and it should. That my voice should sound less gritty to you than it used to. If you remember, like, just go back to any of my old streams. Go back now, and then listen to me now. My voice is less gritty. My mom even says, she's like, "You sound different." Like, I talked to her on the phone not that long ago, and she's like, "You sound different." And I'm like, "Yeah, I should sound different." I probably fucking should sound different. But anyways, so I'm like, "Holy shit!" And so I was really, really excited at first. I was like, "Oh my god, now I can actually like pursue this and, like, try to be a front man of like an emo band, screamo metal band, something like that." But then like a wave of terror hit me. I'm like, "Well, what the?" I was like, I made this deal with this unknown entity, or this mysterious entity, and I'm like, did I just sell my soul? Like, what the fuck happened? Like, I didn't really know what was going on. So I communicated with this thing, like asking questions, and so like, do I owe you anything, or like, am I like indebted to you, or like what are the terms and conditions of me having my voice back after 20 years of it being fucked, literally 20 years of it being fucked up? And he said, if you choose to become a musician, like if you do, like you could, like we will help you out and shit, but like you're one of us now. Like you're part of the clan, and you're gonna have to do some shit that you're not gonna want to do. He didn't say that. Like it isn't me saying it. Like, because there's a whole bunch of shit they make. You guys know what happens in the elite circles. Like there's a whole bunch of shit that people like us would not want to do. He said it. So basically, like the last, I don't know, few weeks or so, I've been having this moral dilemma of do I pursue this? Do I pursue what was my original passion all along, which is just performance? Like I've always known that I was born to be some type of performer or entertainer on stage. I've always known this, and I haven't been able to because of my voice. Like, do I do that and join these people, or I don't even know if you can call them all people, but join this group? Do I do that? Live out my dreams, but also likely live out my nightmares? Or do I just say fuck it and just don't do it at all? I don't know. What would you guys do? Because I was so excited to get my voice back, and it's so fun now. Like I sing and scream pretty much every day for a long time, and I'm just able to do it. And it's crazy when it first happened. Like when it first cleared, my voice sounded so strange because there was just like a hollow point, like a hollow ball where that node used to be, where my throat didn't get any use for 20 years because there was a node blocking it. So I've literally had to relearn how to sing. That's what I've been doing a lot this past month, is just relearning how to sing and relearning how to scream. And even though it's way better for my voice now that I don't have the node, the one good thing about having the node is that it gave my voice some grit, so that when I was able to scream, it actually sounded, I would say it sounded better before than it does now. Although it's been slowly getting better because I'm developing a new way to sing, because for 20 years I had to sing around this node. So like so all my muscle memory was based on this node, and now it's gone. So I have to relearn fucking everything. But yeah, that's where I've been at lately, and it's all well, for me personally, like if I became like a either relatively successful or very successful musician, and like they killed me, like they kill a lot of people, I don't think I'd have a huge issue with that. But if they killed me and cloned me, obviously I'd be dead, so I wouldn't have a huge issue with that. But just me right now, as a human, that just seems like the creepiest fucking... something about that fucking it doesn't sit well with me, like Volk. So I've been going back and forth on this shit for weeks now, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. I lean towards doing it for multiple reasons. One is because I feel like it's just kind of destiny. Like all this shit happened. Like you would not, like the insanely happenstance circumstance where I met this celebrity who invited me to this party to meet him with. And the reasons why, because I asked him, I was like, why? I'm just some guy in Ohio now. Like, why are they even interested in me? Why are they, like, why is this so weird? And I think I've told you guys this before, but my mom was a groupie, and like she was born in LA, and when she was late teens, early 20s, she was like a groupie type, LA partier type, and she won't admit it herself, but I saw it a few years ago, and in a vision, and then they once again reiterated it to me. They're like, yeah, if you ever notice, they love generational stuff. Like if your parents are famous in whatever it is, you can be famous. Like you can just be famous if you choose to. If you want to be famous and your parents are famous, or your parents have ties to the elite, you can be famous. It's very, very easy. Just look at any professional wrestling is almost all second and third and fourth generation wrestlers. Like, it's rare that you see a first generation wrestler these days. And same as celebrities. You might not realize it, but a lot of celebrities are like related to each other, and because it's a blood thing. They do a lot of blood magic and blood rituals, and so it's very advantageous for you to be second or third generation. And while I'm not a second generation celebrity, I am second generation fucking around with the elite, I guess you could say. And that's the reason why. That's the main reason why they're actually interested in me, if that makes any sense. And so because of that, I feel like it's a little bit predestined. And also, like, multiple people in my life have told me, like, I always, like, once a year in my life, I'll just have either a random person or an acquaintance or a friend or someone, like, I'm in a relationship, like, but whatever it is, I'll have someone come up to me and tell me something that's going to happen in my life in the future. Just random, like, they just feel, and they'll say, like, oh, I just felt compelled to tell you that. And it's always really strange. And every single one of those instances has come true. Besides, the only thing that hasn't come true are the few people that told me that I was going to be famous one day. My 10th grade math teacher told me that. And I really believed her, because I think I've told the story before, but she said, I've only had this feeling one other time before, and he ended up becoming famous. I was like, really? Like, who? She's like, Mark Hoppus at Blink-182. I was like, no fucking way. And the day later, she got her yearbook out from like the fucking 80s or early 90s or whatever it was, and she showed it to me. She's like, yeah, look. It's like, there he is. I'm like, holy shit. I've had a few other people tell me that shit too. They said, like, you're gonna be like a big time performer, like you're gonna be something. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I never, like, those things happen to me, so like I just think, oh, I can probably. But that's the one thing that hasn't happened yet. It's the only one thing that hasn't happened. Everything else has happened. So that's another thing that makes me think it's predestined. And then the third reason why I'm leaning towards doing it, even though morally that I have a lot of like issues with it. The third reason, and probably the most important reason for me, is that you guys know, I don't know anyone who's more into the esoteric arts than I am. Like, that's my thing. For literally 15 years now, that's been my main, like, focus and passion in life, in terms of like things I like to learn about and study about. I like to know as much as possible about the light side and the dark side. I don't care where the information is coming from, as long as it's good information. And being involved in a group like that, I'm gonna have access to a whole bunch of esoteric knowledge that I wouldn't have otherwise. So that's the main reason why, because I'm just a truth seeker. I just want to know. And even if it kills me in the end, which it very well could have. Maybe I'm just the moth to the flame, or Icarus flying too high to the sun. But it feels like, I don't know, just the type of person I am. Like I said, like, I don't know anyone like me. I don't know anyone who's as spiritual as I am, who thinks about this shit as often as I do. I feel like that they could use me, you know, like, I'm not, a lot of like their low level groupie members or whatever, I feel like they're disposable because they don't offer anything unique. They don't bring anything to the table that's legitimately unique. But I do. I know I bring something unique. And if you doubt the clone shit, look at any picture of Kanye West pre-2022, and it looks like Kanye West. Look at Kanye West 2023 or 2024. If you're telling me that's Kanye West, you're insane. You're insane. And here's the thing: back in 2021 or 2022, when the Balenciaga scandal was going on, Kanye was a spokesman for him, but he started speaking up against it. And then you can look this video up online. I'm not lying. He said, like, shortly after, he said, if I ever go missing for a while, and then I come back, just know that's not me. Sure enough, he went missing for a while, and then he came back. And guess what? The very first thing clone Kanye did, taking his probably cloned wife, guess what he did? That's the very first thing in the public eye. The very first thing that clone Kanye did. He took his wife shopping to Balenciaga. Could not make it up. I swear to God, it's the truth. Swear to God, it's the truth. Kanye wouldn't have done that. He was very much against that, even though I have my doubts, because Kanye is also the first black billionaire, first ever black billionaire in the history of the earth to become that. I would imagine there's some kitty diddling and stuff, but you would imagine, like, probably, like, you know, he probably did, but maybe he did. Who knows? Who knows? It's like, but how do you become that filthy rich without that shit? Like, that's like one of their main, like, disgusting rituals that they do. But anyways, yeah. Look, don't believe me. Look at Kanye. Look at Kanye 2021. Look at Kanye 2024. Tell me that's the same fucking person. You can't say age because it's only a few years. You can't say drugs because it's only, like, you can't, like, it's a completely different fucking person. Let's see. Jesse, who's cloning and why? The elite. So they clone for different reasons. So I assumed that like, for a few years that Eminem was dead, and they cloned him. Either they killed him because, like, he wasn't going along with their plan, so, or like he wasn't pushing the agenda that they want, so they killed him and then they cloned him. So you had someone that would push the agenda they want. But now that I think Tom is alive, or Marshall is alive, I believe, it's just a theory, but it makes sense. I'm guessing that Marshall sold the Eminem character. That would be my guess. He probably sold it for an ass load of money and his DNA and they cloned him. That would be my guess. And then he just went off to live, you know, like a relatively low profile life. I know Tom McDonald started rapping in like 2008, I think, or 2009, but he didn't hit prominence until 2017. And here's a smoking gun too, because I went down. I was examining a lot of things, trying to piece this shit together, because it's going to eventually affect my life too. That's why I'm so interested in it. There's a post from Tom McDonald on his Facebook like a long time ago. He said, "Hey, I invited my sister to come down, etc., etc." There's a picture of him and his sister. I swear to his quote-unquote sister looks more like a fake human than he does, and he looks really fake. He does not look like a real human to me. There is zero doubt in my mind that that's a real human being. There's no way. Like her skin tone, the way her eyes looked, it was so fucking straight. She looked like somehow Asian, even though she was white, but like in a very mannequin doll like factor. So fucking strange. But that was one of the kickers too. When I saw that, I was like, oh, okay, that's not real. It's not fucking real. And there's vocal cues in his songs. He will sound like Marshall Mathers, like every certain amount of lines, or like there's certain emphasis on something. Like if it relates or relays back to Eminem, then he will sound more like Eminem. It's fucking crazy. I'm sure all you guys think I'm fucking crazy now, but this is the type of shit that I fucking deal with on a fucking daily basis. So who's cloning? I think it depends on, like, sometimes I think they just kill someone, like Kanye is, I'm pretty sure Kanye is dead. Especially, like, there's an interview with Kim Kardashian, a recent interview. She's talking about Kanye. It does not sound like she's talking about her ex-husband who she got divorced from. It sounds like she's talking about her ex-husband who's dead. You can, like, she's literally holding back tears. And you could just fucking tell, man. You could just fucking tell that fucking something happened. So Kanye is probably dead. Yeah, it's where most rappers are clones. That much I know. for sure. Most rappers are clones. It's way more prevalent in rap than it is in rock. Like in fact, the only clone I can think of in rock music is Paul McCartney, and that was a long time ago. I think he was cloned multiple times too, but that was a for sure. And there's a whole bunch of evidence supporting that as well. It doesn't. I don't see it happen that much in rock, which gives me a little bit of peace of mind that it wouldn't happen to me if I became a rock star. Because I was asking myself this question. Hypothetically, let's say 10 years from now, I'm a successful rock star. I'm sick of touring. I don't want to do it anymore. And someone comes to me, they say, hey, I can clone you. This guy will make all the money, like you'll make the same amount of money, if not even more. You don't have to do shit for the rest of your life, and you'll just be making millions. I was thinking, would I do that? And the answer I came to is absolutely fucking no, dude. Fuck that. Hell no. The spiritual and esoteric implications of having a clone, like what the fuck are those clones? Like look at Eminem. Look at Eminem these days. Tell me that's a real human being. I don't fucking think so. But what if it's not a real human? What the fuck is it? What the fuck is it? I don't know. I think this started all with like fucking Joe Biden talk. But yeah, Biden, like there's videos of it, like you can see there's different people playing Biden, and like there's some videos where you can literally see like the mask. And if you don't believe me and any of this shit's possible, look it up yourself. There's videos. Oh, I saw it recently. Oh my God, I don't remember the celebrity. There was this girl. She was wearing a one of those masks, and it looked like, I can't remember what fucking, I wish I knew what celebrity. It looked like exactly like it was so much so that I thought it was that celebrity for sure. I was like, oh, it's her. And then she goes under her shirt and she pulls it up, and she's a completely fucking different person. And it's not photoshopped, right? Like it's real. It's fucking real. And there's a lot of fucking evidence of this shit. And they've been cloning people since the 50s, I know. So, it's one of the most interesting rabbit holes, I think, to go down. And specifically with the Tom McDonald shit, you can't really find many people saying the shit I'm saying. Like you can Google, is Tom McDonald actually Eminem? The only thing you'll find is some idiot with like the longest paragraph I've ever seen in my life, telling all the reasons why he couldn't possibly be Eminem. And every single reason is the most retarded fucking thing I've ever seen. Like one of the reasons, no joke, on God, one of the reasons was Eminem has short hair, Tom McDonald has long hair. What the fuck? That's one of your fucking reasons? Are you fucking insane? How does that make any sense? Like he can't grow his fucking hair out? What the fuck? That makes no sense. But that's the only thing. That's literally, it's just a long Reddit post that someone said, like, all these illogical, stupid reasons how it can't be. And that's another reason that makes me think, oh well, it's got to be. Like if you can't find information on it, then it probably is. And there's also a video of there's a video that was made a few years ago about Eminem being a clone, which was the video that clued me into it. And it is so, like, it's still up online, but you literally can't even type in the title and the author on YouTube and have it pop up. That's how buried it is. You have to go to his channel and then search for it in his channel. And even then, it's like 20 videos down. It's crazy. Like they tried so hard to bury this shit. That's how you know it's real. Like they wouldn't bury this shit if it wasn't real. So yeah, I think I'm gonna end with that. I was not expecting to talk about fucking any of that shit today, but that has been the shit that's been on my life, on my mind, and in my life. Yeah, so hope you guys are doing good. Thank you so much for watching. Was hoping I had more viewers today, but time of day and also the fact that I haven't released a video in fucking forever, it makes sense. Makes sense that I wouldn't. But yeah, enjoy the nice weather today, Jesse. Thanks for being around, Hot Knocker. Hopefully you guys don't think I'm too crazy. I promise you every single thing I've said in this stream is accurate. Everything happened. I know for 100% certainty it's accurate. I have, like I said, and I have a connection with the elite now. I have like some weird spiritual connection with them. So like I'm privy to some of this shit, and like I can't say a lot of shit, but there's some shit I can. And yeah, go down that rabbit hole if you're interested. The documentary American Moon is very hard to find. What is I don't even. Is that about us going to the moon? Because that certainly didn't happen. That certainly couldn't fucking happen. Like, you're telling me that we went to the moon in like late 60s, early 70s, and then just never again, and just fucking never again. Okay. Yeah, and the furthest a human's ever been away from Earth, other than those alleged moon landings, I believe it's just like a few miles above Earth, like in orbit. Like just that's the furthest a human's actually been documented to be away from Earth is just in near orbit. That's it. No human has even gone past that, which I guess makes sense. If you're not going anywhere, why would you go past that? But still, like, it doesn't make any sense. But anyways, yeah, I gotta go. I'm going to the market right now. Thank you guys for watching. Jesse, look at pictures of Eminem. Look at pictures of Tom McDonald. Listen to the song and watch the video of cloned rappers, and then watch the video of Dear Slim. Listen to the lyrics and tell me I'm not 100% right, because I'm telling you I'm 100% right. On Lugo Commune 2 U channel, it's about fake moonland. Oh shit, gotcha. Yeah, anything. Oh, okay. Yeah, anything that's actually true. It's so fucking hard to find. Lugo Commune 2. I'll remember that. Yeah. That's how you know it's real. Why would they try to bury shit that isn't real, unless it's a psyop and they just want to make people go crazy? But like I said, I've been around this shit now. Not now. Like, I've been around this shit since that took place 11 years ago, but I wasn't aware of it. But now that I am aware of it, it's like any doubt that I didn't really have doubts in my mind anyway of what was really going on in the world. But now I remember when the fuck I saw it. Partially. I didn't partake in everything there. I didn't partake in everything there. I'll say that. I could have done some crazy section. I didn't. So you can be proud of me on that. But if I do become a rock star, I'm gonna have to do some crazy section. I don't want to. But anyways, have a good one, guys. I love you. Thanks for watching. Peace.